Hello and welcome to another episode of The Kennel. Today we are going to be doing a big review of round 5 and what a chaotic round it was for rugby league, for NRL, for everything footy. And to do all the discussion with me today, I've got my trusty co-hosts, Owen. How you doing, Owen?
Last name 5.
Owen 5. How you doing, Dibbo?
Still 0.
Still 0.
Still empty. Still down the bottom.
And shiny head Zaatar, none other. Welcome.
Shiny
Thank you for having me, man.
Wow.
Because the glare on your bald patch right now.
I shaved it just for this podcast.
Did you really?
It actually fell out when I was 13.
When I was 13. Look, we've got so much to talk about. This episode is brought to you today by Equity Assets Finance. They are your go-to specialists for anything finance, home loans, car loans, business loans. They can get you up and going in under a week, and they are Sharia compliant. Check the description for all their details. Now, we do have our weekly segment, and if you do want to be the sponsor for our weekly segment, please be sure to reach out to us on Instagram, in our email, wherever. And we would love to have a sponsor for these segments. But the first one is the Barry of the Week. Now, I'm going to start with you, Zaatar. Now, I think ours may be similar, but I'll let you start. What's your Barry of the Week? Just quickly, Barry of the Week is just anywhere where you think there was a stupid decision or a stupid play or something stupid that a player did, an admin did. It's just a bit of fun. Don't get your panties in a knot.
My one is going to be very similar to yours. We're discussing it off camera, but mine is going to Ruben Cotter's Captain's Challenge. The dumbest Captain's Challenge ever since Captain Challenge became a thing in the NRL.
There have been some dumb ones.
By far is the worst. Like, I get dumb ones that happen at the end of a game to like slow down the clock and whatnot. But this one, after you've wrapped your hand around the player in the in goal, after he's caught it cleanly in the in goal, and then having the audacity, you look at the ref like nothing happened. Like, what are you talking about? Like, the ref's blind.
Challenge.
And he's gone and challenged it. The thing is, he's a co-captain as well, so he's just gone there challenged
He was in a charitable mood. He was trying to help out the Dragons. You're a good bloke, Ruben.
Well, he helped out the Dragons. He kept you guys to 0, but
He just didn't want to get the Cowboys to 50. That's
that
all
was,
it was. He
you
was
didn't
helping
want to
us
end
out.
your season.
That's it. He didn't want to end
That's
us.
all it's riding on. You guys.
What a
conceding
Ruben.
50.
Yeah. Anyways. My Ruben's obviously the
Your
post.
Ruben?
No, sorry.
good sandwich.
My Barry. Sorry. It is a good sandwich. My Barry of the Week is the post-match press conference between the Dragons and the Cowboys. So Shane Flanagan, when quizzed what went wrong, I don't have the answers. So I thought you had the answers for the first 5 rounds and in the preseason and last year and the year before. So what's happened? I don't have the answers, you know. That was the Barry of the Week on not how to conduct a press conference, especially that you fought tooth and nail, you've had your minions in the media go on the attack, and then for that, you know, come out and say, I don't have the answers. Yeah, good. About time you ate some humble pie.
So actually, my Barry of the Week was the fact that Ruben Cotter did the same thing that 3 players did last week. Like, bro, how do you not learn from their mistakes? Like, what are you doing, bro? The 3 players did it last week, and then you come and do the exact same thing.
I reckon it was calculated. I reckon you knew, no, these guys they got nothing on us. I'll have a nice break here. Plus, I'm feeling a bit charitable. Good bloke, Ruben.
Taking him off, so he got himself sent to the bin.
Yeah, that's
to get a break.
I don't think. Look, whatever, bro. That was just a bad play. But the other Barry of the Week, I think, is on NRL 360. I heard Dean Ritchie, Bulldog, defending Shane Flanagan.
Man, we honestly should do a segment on shit takes by supposed people or supposed journos or people in the media. Because there is some every single day, and I think it makes me think, how are these guys employed?
Yeah,
honestly, it's just jobs for mates.
Yeah, it's
like, you know, honestly, these guys have been in those positions for 30 plus years, and I strongly believe there was a vacuum when it came, and with the game expanding, there was a whole vacuum in terms of journos and people in media, and these guys all got in. It was pretty much first apply, first take basis, and this guy was one of them, year in, year out since I was a kid. All he's had has been some shit takes or biased takes, and he's always, most of the time, he's all wide of the mark. Here's another shit take by him. Give Flanagan another month. All right, how about we just suck you from that TV program? That's a good take by me, because you're always wide of the mark.
Yeah,
I can't believe he's trying to defend him. For what? Give him another month? He's already had over 2 years. He's had about 2.5 years. He's had less than a 30% success rate. What's a month going to do, mate?
Yeah, look,
It's got to be a week-by-week basis. If you ain't winning week in, week out for the next month, a win keeps him going. It's a do-or-die match for him every week.
I think it's beyond the winning. I think it's the eye test
I agree.
as well. It's like the eye test because they didn't even show up.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's do or die now. That's what I reckon. Every game going forward for is do or die. If he wins this week, good. He carries on to next week against Souths. If he wins against Souths, he's strung 2 wins together. Is it Souths they got next week?
I haven't really checked the draw.
Yeah, I think they got Souths next week before they get the Roosters. But if he strings 2 wins together, then it gives him a bit of leeway.
No, the Dragons have the Seagulls next week.
Yeah, I'm saying after the Seagulls, they got Souths, I believe.
All right.
They're not going to beat the Roosters. Roosters are going to pile 50 on them. That's going to end their season there. Well,
Yeah, they have
it's already
Rabbitohs,
ended, yeah. But even the Rabbitohs, man, unless barring a bad injury run or a poor form slump, the Rabbitohs are going to pour it on them as well. He really has a do or die match every week. That's what it's going to come down to.
After the Roosters, they have the bye. So anyway, that's the segment.
First points of the year.
For the next segment we've got is the defensive play or player of the week. Zaatar, what was yours?
Mine was Dry Gray. Back to the Bulldogs, Rabbitohs Good Friday game. Tuala's break on the back of a Galvin kick, I think it was. No one in sight, and those little legs had to cover like 500 kilometers or something like that in 5 seconds, and he was there, and he made the tackle, and he kept Tuala down, and even slowed down the play of the ball. Didn't get a 6 again, but slowed down the play of the ball enough. And then his team let him down by not being there to cover the tackle, which I thought was a brain explosion from Sicily not to pass it left.
Yeah, straight out.
But he got the points or whatever. But Dry Gray for me, he does it week in, week out. You could probably pick 5 plays from him every game.
Bro, do you know what I love about Dry Gray when he runs? It's like a little hamster on a wheel. Like, bro, this is the way he runs. The little legs begin. It's so adorable. I love seeing him. He's such a good player, man.
He's really good.
Yours, Dibbo? Defensive player, team of the week?
Yeah, mine would be the performance from the Penrith Panthers against the Melbourne Storm team that completed about 95%.
Yep.
They kept them only to 10 points.
Incredible.
And one of those tries came late. Melbourne do that to any other NRL side or most NRL sides, and they're pouring on 30 to 40 points, I reckon.
I agree.
Or probably even putting on 50, like 95% completion rate. It just made them look like they were just playing uncreative footy. Like, this is an attacking team that's got Munster and Jerome Hughes at the helm.
And Grant at 9.
They've got an awesome spine. If you want to chuck in Longer and NLC, he touched on the spine and kept them to 10 points. Insane.
They did to Melbourne what Melbourne does to the Eels.
Or anyone, mate, or most sides anyway.
My defensive play of the week is a whole team actually. It's the Cowboys to go to Cogra, which is the Dragons' home.
That was the Cowboys' home game.
No, it wasn't.
No, because the way the Cowboys played, I thought they were at home.
I mean, to go to Cogra and to put a desperate team to the sword and not allow them to score 1 point. I think it's a great defensive showing. I know the Dragons were bad, they were, but to not allow them any point, I think is a great defensive attitude. And in fact, we actually started shouting in the last 5 minutes at the Dragons that they should kick a 1 point.
On the hill or where I was sitting, everyone was saying the same thing.
Yeah,
they got him within range and was like, take the field goal,
just not to stay on 0.
Bro, it was hilarious. No, we just like to rub salt into the wounds of the coach. 32-1 would have been hilarious.
So that's my defensive sort of play or team of the week. All right, next segment, attacking play of the week.
It's between two. I'm tossing up between McLean and Reece Walsh. I think I'm going to go Reece Walsh. He's kicked himself before he ended up getting injured, but he's kicked himself. What about that himself? Like his team should have been there to catch the ball, but the fact that he creates opportunities and is there to finish them, I think he's one of the best he's the best attacking player in the comp, in my opinion.
What about that try went down the line and a game of millimeters.
Yeah.
That was insane, but they got called back. Damn.
That's okay. They let all his forward passes through anyway.
Bro, I've never seen a player get away with as many forward passes as Reece NFL Walsh.
NFL Walsh, that's a good one, actually. Remember they got him to throw an NFL pass?
Yeah.
No, receive one, sorry.
No. It wasn't. Remember his pass against the Warriors in 2023 when the Warriors went on that run, and that pass was literally like 2 meters forward, and they're like, "Oh no,
It
play
should have
on."
been a penalty.
Honestly, he was that forward. He should have been a deliberate penalty. Wallah. Yeah, what was your attacking play of the week?
It's again a team. It'll be Manly. They did a shutout performance against the Redcliffe Dolphins. It was like 52-0 inside 70 minutes. They did what normally the Dolphins do to other teams. They did it back on the Dolphins. Like Waddell and Ben Trebojevic looked like immortals out there. They were able to afford to put Tom Trebojevic out of the game early. Good, very good. 52 points on a team that just had their coach replaced. Insane turnaround. If I had to do individuals like Jackson Purdue for the Cowboys, he torched them up against the Dragons. He was just everywhere. He ran around them as well like it was under sixes. Like he had one of those games. He was sensational.
He was great. For me, I think one of the attacking play of the week was the sharp kick by against the Raiders. So the Knights for the Raiders, he kicked the ball to Marju to catch it and score.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great play. And it was so good that even Ponga was like Ponga couldn't believe that Fletcher Sharp made the play. And I just think overall the Knights were great. But that play was a great setup try. I think if there was anyone else that I would call, I think KPP, Kaipi's Paul against the Eels was great in attack. A lot of the stuff was coming off
Absolute
Kaipi's Paul. Yeah. So there are attacking plays. Let us know what your attacking plays are. Tell us what your barrier of the week is. Tell us what your defensive team player of the week is. And, the best ones will get a shout out on the podcast next week and on Instagram. Now, quickly want to go over our tips. So I got 3 from 8. I believe you, Zaatar, got 4 from 8. And Dibbo, you got 5.
In all honesty, we all could have got more. Like, I don't know why we all went and tipped the Dragons. And we didn't show the Knights the respect they should have.
Agreed.
So really we called, but 5 out of 8.
I believe you have a bone to pick.
I have a bone to pick.
With who?
That's because you stitched me up. You stitched me up. So if anyone's paying attention to our socials, we post our tips each week. Unlike some cowards out there that claim they got 6, 7, 8 out of 8. We actually put it on the line. Apparently, I tipped the Rabbitohs.
Good point you made there.
Apparently, I tipped the Rabbitohs. I never tip against my team. We've won wooden spoons, and I've never tipped against my team. I believe anyone that tips against the team has no honour, has no integrity.
Mate, I'm calling it as it is.
I didn't call you out, man. I didn't call you out.
But you know what? Elmo made you look like a guru, and he made me look like a dope. Because it was the other way around. I actually tipped the Rabbitohs. He tipped the Dogs. But Elmo, and he's going to probably blow up about we should do the graphics. Put it that he tipped the Rabbitohs, and I tipped the Dogs. But. Yeah, look, he made you look like a guru. I don't know why you got a bone to pick with him.
I
should be thanking him.
Nah, I just have some integrity and honor. I'll
look. I don't know what integrity you have tipping the Dragons when they're 0-5.
I went on the back of no team could be that bad to go 0-5.
Oh, trust me.
But they proved me wrong.
Look, they'll raise you 1 this week, or they might raise you another 3 and be 0-8. My new last name might be 8
I think I'm at the
within
point
a
where I'm
month's
going to
time.
keep tipping the Dragons until they win.
In a month's time, my last one might be it might be number 8. So yeah,
But you should grow out your hair until the Dragons win a game.
Oh, mate. I think by the time that happens,
we can braid on live stream.
Oh, mate, we can braid it, yeah.
All right, so we've done our tips. We've spoken about our segments. Now we want to get into the game reviews, and today. Now is the Dragons and the Cowboys review. So we've had our thoughts on other games, but I'm going to throw it to you, Dibbo. I think you deserve to have this call, right? I want you to talk about. Give us your thoughts on that game. Give us your thoughts on the Dragons and what's going on, and how you think is going to happen. Things are going to go over the next couple of weeks.
On that game, they had a lot of. Believe it or not, they actually had a lot of possession. Like they completed most sets, but it's just uninspiring footy. In all honesty, and this is just directed at the halves. It's directed across the board. There's no creativity in attack. Like Leilua will run the under, he'll bust the line. No one will run up in support play. Like he did that 2 or 3 times. Looked to pass, but nobody was up there supporting him. They got players that absolutely lack pace. Like they got snails out there in Moses Sully and Christian Tui Pilato in the back line. Clint Gutherson, that fullback's lost another yard of pace. He can't defend for his life. He can't catch for his life. He can't even pull off a fullback's tackle. He finally did pull pull a fullback's tackle on the weekend. One, probably out of 22 attempts this year. Like, you know, he's probably made 1 out of 22 attempts in fullback tackles. And when I mean fullback tackles in a one-on-one situation, expect them to make at least a half or third, you know. One so on. And that was with his cover defense coming. The Cowboys would bust the line, and it was away. It was all she wrote because Christian Tuipulotu or Moses Sully or Farlow or Gutherson, they happen to be slower than, for example, Toby Couchman and Jacob Little. I honestly think if we had a sprint session, Toby Couchman and Jacob Little would probably finish top 2, and Damien Cook top 3. Honestly, 35-year-old Damien Cook would finish in the top 3.
Honestly, that reminds me of
There
the
was a
Dogs.
line break on the weekend, and I think it was Braden Burns, and Toby Couchman was running him down, but the other backs were losing ground instead. There was another incident in the game in the same half. The bomb went up. Hamish Stewart ran through, out-jumped Drinkwater, caught the ball, and then somehow it popped back out. But why was our lock the only one challenging for the bomb?
Yeah.
And no back on that left-hand side wasn't even up challenging for the kick. It was insane. You know, like every week in, week out, Couchman's, Hamish Stewart. You know what? And this guy got a lot of heat, Luciano Leilua. But in all honesty, it looks like he's the only guy. And take out the Couchmans and Stewart out of the equation. The ones that are playing week in, week out, because they're just natural athletes. But it looks like this is the only guy that's worked his ass off in the preseason. He shed some kilos. He's got agility. He's absolutely killing him. Like, he's busting line every game, like 2 or 3 line breaks every game. Like, he's killing it. You know, he's doing offloads. He's busting the line. Like, every game you get 1 or 2 line breaks from a minimum. You know, and nobody runs off him. Like, 5 games in, he's done it every single game. And no one on that left side has the noose or the sense in their head to be aware or even pushing up. Like, it's a cardinal sin. Like, you know, you grow up, and as you get to a teenage age and older, and, you know, playing footy and that, the coach will tell you, make sure you're pushing up. You know, push up. You know, so you can support the attack and play in case it's on. Man, this guy busts through, and everyone's just watching. There was 2 times there Gutherson should have been pushing up. He was happy to stand behind him. Insane. Like, it's uninspiring footy. Nothing doing. Like, the coach has got some... You know, the coach is pulling off moves that the greatest of modern war tacticians in Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox, couldn't pull off. For example, Hamish Stewart will go to the bench. He'll start me Hame Sella. Hame Sella has been pretty decent, right? But Hamish Stewart, an up-and-comer young bull, you know, this guy, I reckon, one day will push for representative honours.
I agree, 100%.
Toby Couchman sits on the bench for drum roll. I'll do the drum roll now, but Elmo probably will say it will play with our acoustics. But drum roll, Toby Couchman sitting on the bench for Blake Laurie. Has been, right? You know, Emre Gul is your starting prop. You know, I know Elmo was touching on this before we went to air, but Elmo had a bone to pick. And you know, everyone's been pointing out this every week in, week out. How is Jacob Little sitting on the bench for 50 minutes?
We only played 22 minutes against the Cowboys.
He's coming on in the 50th minute. The Dragons on 0. They're struggling for points. Similar thing happened last week against the Titans. They did a points injection. And the greatest of tacticians, you know, if we want to, you know, the most philosophical of thinkers ahead of all those Greek mythological heroes, you know.
Aristotle.
Ahead of Aristotle and Socrates, Shane Flanagan does it, and his brains trusts in Dean Young, who thinks he's going to get the head coaching spot over my dead body, if you think you will. Can't even have the noose to even inject this guy in the first half or make other interchanges. What do you have Jacob Halangau or for example, in previous weeks, Loco Pacific Tonga sitting on the bench? If you ain't going to play him, you know, these are guys that are they're known as boom youngsters coming through. But they've already dominated reserve grade. So how are they not ready for first grade? When are they going to ever be ready?
See, Halangau played 22 minutes. Last year, remember when you guys had all those injuries? I think it was against the Eels.
And he absolutely belted Cronulla.
He played for 80 minutes. And
as an 18-year-old, he dominated Cronulla.
It makes no sense to me why Hamish Stewart doesn't get 80 minutes. Why
Halangau could play 70, 80 minutes.
I agree.
Well. He's only 19.
You know,
Loco gets named on the bench last week to not even get a look in.
it's all going. The thing is, it's all going wrong. And
Things go wrong. Oh, let's drop Tyrell Sloan.
Yeah.
That's where his change comes from. Oh, let's drop the winger, bro. Like, really? What planet are you on?
And the problem is, like,
He's so pig-headed.
you've had 3 wingers now on that right-hand side. You've had Setutu, you've had Terrell Sloan, and David Farley.
Have you
right?
noticed he does musical chairs with the wingers, but not with the centers or the
Yeah,
fullback?
but what's...
Or the halves. He only did musical chair with the half when his son got knocked out. And with the forwards, his musical chairs is to put your gun players on the bench and start someone else.
But what's
That's
changing?
a has-been.
What's changing? Wingers going to do when you're not getting go forward? When you're like, there's just no.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no spark, and so like,
Absolutely ridiculous.
so there are reports coming out now, right?
Oh, hear this. I
That
hope this
first-
is going where I think it is.
First, right, Trey Fuller was being sought by the club as a fullback replacement.
Right.
This was, almost immediately after the game. These reports came out by, I think, Michael Carianas. 24 hours later, the news is that the club has put all negotiations on hold, right? Because they're trying to assess whether it's going to be Shane Flanagan at the helm next year as head coach. Now, it's intriguing for so many reasons. Just the idea that they want to bring in Trey Fuller, right?
Oh, it gets better, but
Just the idea that they want to bring in Trey Fuller. Does that mean that they are acknowledging that Clint Gutherson is a problem at fullback? And if they are acknowledging that Clint Gutherson is a problem and they wanted to sign Trey Fuller for this year, does that mean that there needs to be a change made immediately with Clint Gutherson, even though he's out for 3 weeks? Are they saying that there needs to be a change made immediately with Clint Gutherson? That's the first question. The second question is, well, if they're putting all contract negotiations on hold because they're not sure that Shane Flanagan's going to be there, they recently re-signed Shane Flanagan for 3 years.
yeah, I didn't understand that either.
What are they going to do? Is Dean Young going to become...
Oh, he's not a first-grade coach.
He's not even an assistant coach. I've never rated Dean Young as a player. I don't rate him
He's
as a
just
coach.
there because of his father. It's all nepotism. I don't want him there, honestly. I don't even want him there as an
I
assistant.
think he's one of the worst
I
players.
want to clean out.
Honestly, I think he's one of the worst players to ever win a grand final. I'll die on this hill.
Do you know how worse it gets? He actually played for New South Wales in Australia, whilst
Yeah.
his father was the team manager. That's
Yeah.
how bad it gets. Like, that gets even worse. But, on that whole Trey Fuller thing,
Yeah.
like, I just read now, basically, well, sort of off air, the Dragons, he wants a 3-year deal. The Dragons only want to give him a 1-year deal. Like, you're hanging for injection. So why reach out to him? Why reach out to him? They have a history of botching contracts. Kick out before he signed for the Dogs?
Yeah.
He was coming to the Dragons.
He was
You remember-
negotiating with the Dragons.
He was coming. He was on the drive to Wollongong. Not negotiating. It was going to happen. You can deny as much as you want.
Sure.
He was on the drive to Wollongong. This is it. This has come from him and his manager. You go on there and get him go on there and say, this is what happened. He was driving to Wollongong. They had agreed to an amount. Right? He's driving down to sign the contract. His manager calls him up. Do a U-turn. Why? Because the amount we agreed on, now they're saying they're giving you $100,000 less.
Oh, my God.
What a donkey of a club. That's one of them. On the morning of the announcement, when they were meant to announce Craig Bellamy as their coach, right? Bellamy calls in the morning and he backflips. He was leaving Melbourne. Read it online. Wayne Bennett, he was coming the night before. Brisbane swoop in and take him. Just to show you how they botch signings. They've botched a lot of signings.
Man.
There's more signings. I just want to give you one example, kick out. There's so many signings they've botched over the years.
So where do the Dragons go from here? Do you think that Shane Flanagan can remain as their coach?
No. Now it's some guy, I don't even know how he's a journo, Bulldog Richie. He's saying give him a month. I say sack Bulldog Richie from that TV program right away.
Yeah, I don't know why Bulldog Richie...
I don't know how he's even given time and air. Like I said earlier, there was a vacuum in journalism, sports journalism 30, 35 years ago, and it was a first-come, first-served basis, and that pig got a position. I honestly have had to listen to this guy for over 30 years give some of the worst and most biased takes ever, and he's still doing it to this day. And, it's all jobs for mates, that News Corp area, basically. It's now come to Shane Flanagan. It's a do-or-die match every week. So if he wins Manly, good. He goes on to Souths. If he loses Souths, let's see what happens in Roosters. If he loses Roosters, punt. But if he wins Manly and then he wins Souths, which I doubt, I don't think he'll even get close, to be honest, then he probably gets, another 3 or 4 week stay of execution.
Then he has the Anzac match against the Roosters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not expecting him to even get close to that, let alone South. His best chance might be Manly next week, and that in itself is going to be a really difficult match after what we saw.
Well, I have some good news for you. They're actually threatening Daniel Atkinson with his role. So when Carl Flanagan comes back, he's going to go into the 7 role.
What a disgusting club.
Daniel Atkinson's going to get demoted to 6.
Every week, Atkinson busts the line.
Yeah.
He sets up. He kicks well. And somehow they've made it about his son being the saviour again. Like, his son, out of all regular starting halves, this year and last year and year before, he's been the worst by far. This guy's only 5 games in, and look what his father does. Like, flick him now.
It's like
him
a
now.
of Ilias, right?
It is disgusting, mate. It is disgusting. He's made it that, it's all about, your son is one of the, his son in A grade, he probably could even bust the line there. In local A grade
Doesn't it feel good to be a doggy supporter?
It is a deluded club. It is a deluded club. Never's negotiating or tried to reach out for Trey Fuller and wants to give him a 1 instead of a... Does that guy honestly think Trey Fuller wants to leave comfortable digs at Redcliffe to come down for a 1 year contract, and then what? A period of uncertainty and hope somebody picks him up.
Yeah,
and then what?
Problem.
Whoever that football manager is, or whoever in that football department, needs to be hauled out of from their office and tossed out and tumble down those stairs and watch it on camera. That's what needs to happen to them. They need to be fired on the spot. The whole footballing department needs to sweep as soon as possible. Okay. They honestly got to go line up people and start recruiting them for the footballing department from top to bottom. You went to the game on the weekend. There was a lot of people there at the club, and the marketing side are working their butt off.
100%.
They were giving show bags. They were giving those towels. They're trying to emulate the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. That's where they're getting them from. They're working their ass off to try to engage with the fans. But because how poor the football department is, and it's transferred into the playing field, this is a club devoid of success for almost a decade. You know how many people turned out for the first game at Cogra on the weekend? 8,500 people. 8.5.
And you know what?
I would have been concerned if they were winning and only getting 8.5. But 8.5, after 4, you can understand why. But that marketing and side and trying to engage with the fans, they're working their ass off. But they're not getting a helping hand.
At halftime, the team got booed, and then at full time, they all got booed.
Yeah, it was even worse.
And I got it all on video. I will be sharing it on Instagram, the booing. But, I felt bad for the players because no one wants to get booed, and this is never personal. But I also understand from a fan perspective, like, that performance was like, I want to use the word diabolical because that's the only way I can describe how bad that performance was. Like, there was really nothing.
It was demoralising.
It was actually really bad.
Like they're 0-5, and everyone thinks now they're going to go 0-8, and who knows, even win a game. There was even odds put up, will they win a game this year? That's how demoralising it is.
I don't think they're that bad. I just didn't think that they would be this bad.
It's gotten to that point.
Yeah.
They went and blew a few games. Like, they blew, that Parramatta game, they blew it, right? That Dolphins game, they should be on 1 or 2
The
wins.
Doggies game.
Don't worry about the Doggies
I think they blew that game.
They were in a position to win or draw, and they blew it, right? Because the Doggies the Dogs were playing some uncreative footy.
Yeah, uninspired, man.
Uncreative, The Dragons have let slip 1 or 2 wins. Like, there shouldn't be much of a discussion about his position yet. But here it's come. And you know what? It's probably a blessing.
I reckon if they lose to Manly, he's gone.
That's what I said. It's
Honestly,
a do or die.
Yeah, I reckon if they lose to Manly, he's gone.
No.
What do you reckon, Zaatar?
If he wins against Manly, all right, he's now got Souths. If they beat Souths, beautiful. He can probably buy himself another 3 or 4 weeks. If they lose in that close one against Souths, let's see how he goes against the Roosters.
Do you reckon? Do you think though that after what we saw on the weekend, it's sort of a little bit vindicating for Carl Flanagan?
In what sense?
In that, okay, everyone said that Carl was the problem. Carl wasn't there, and the team was even worse.
Guys didn't score a point.
Yeah, but he's not vindicated at all. What have they scored with him?
A lot more than 0.
But has it been on his side?
I mean,
one kick put through the defence, it's all come on the right-hand side.
It's all come from Atkinson, I agree, but there's also...
From my perspective, watching that first half, I know they were on 0 at half-time and they blew 3 golden opportunities, like Cookie was guilty of 1 or 2 of them.
Oh,
and Leilua, he made that bust and then dropped it. They looked more fluid in that first half. I thought, okay, here we go. Obviously, in the second half, they were atrocious, especially that kicking game. But he's back this week. I would have loved to see Liking King Toga again.
I would have loved to have seen Cade Reid, to be honest.
I mean, same here. Like, you get some fool, I'm going to call him a fool, say he's not ready, his body, this and that. Only St. George fans want to say that. But He never stopped the Roosters blooding, for example, Sam
Walker,
Walker.
yeah, I agree.
He didn't stop other clubs, blooding 18, 19-year-olds. Like Mitchell Moses was, how old was he when he debuted? 18, 19. He was a skinny, wiry kid. So was Luke Brooks, for example. Was Elliott applied to Cade Reid and St. George?
The same with
When
the
is he
Bulldogs
ever going to
back.
be ready?
Even Mitchell Woods, like at the Bulldogs.
When is he going to be ready? Lockie Galvin, sure, he's 6'4", 6'5", but he's a twig.
Yeah.
You know? But you gave it a go.
He's killing it.
Who's to say whoever be injury free? He won't. He'll get head knocks. He'll get injuries. Whether he'll have a 20, 50, 100, 200 game career, you got to give him a go. If he ain't ready now, he ain't going to be ever ready. He's 19 going on to 20. How much longer do you want to keep him wrapped in cotton wool?
All right. Well, I mean, they have Manly at Wynn Stadium. Hopefully they can put a performance on for the fans and Shane Flanagan can bring it back. All right. So now we're going to review the Dogs versus Rabbitohs game. It's going to be myself and Zaatar reviewing this game. The episode is going to be a little bit all over the place today because Dibbo was unable to stay to record all the episodes as he's just had some stuff on. So it'll just be myself and Zaatar doing a majority of the episode. But in any case, Zaatar, let's get into it. The Dogs against the Rabbitohs. You and I were at that game. Look, I have a lot to say about this game. There will be no rants from me.
You're not going to cry? I
Crying
saw
is
some tears.
crying's different. I didn't say I wouldn't cry. I said I wouldn't rant. There's a bit of a difference. But I will be giving some honest thoughts and honest opinions, including speaking about particular players. But before I do that, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I thought, and we've probably discussed this, 15 times, 16 times, 100 times now. Maybe spent 20 hours, catching up over the weekend. I thought this game went better than last week. It's definitely an improvement on last week. A lot of the effort areas I thought improved on last week as well. Last week, was diabolical. It was horrible. Effort on the ball, off the ball, it was all disgusting. This week, I thought a lot of that improved. I thought Tuala and Galvin had fantastic games, both attacking and defensively. Fafita did not spare Galvin for a single second, didn't spare Tuala for a single second. And between them, they only had a couple of misses. I thought our attack seemed to click a lot more. I like Galvin sweeping on both sides of the field, creating opportunities for Galvin. For Burden and the left edge as well as the right edge. I thought anytime he had the ball, he was a threat. This is the first time I've seen us kick behind the line all season. So I liked what I saw. And then it came down to discipline. As soon as Critter came off, I thought that fell apart. Our discipline fell apart. We were giving away penalties. I've got some thoughts about us losing the penalty count 6-0 in the last 36 minutes of the game. I just don't think any team is that clean. But nonetheless, we dropped the ball when we had the ball. We didn't make the most of our opportunities. I've got some question marks around Ciro weakening two positions to partially patch one up. Burden, as much as I think is a great centre, he's done his whole off-season. The last 4 years or 3 years at the Dogs have all been in 6. I can't imagine him doing too much defensive work in the week.
At centre.
At centre.
Yeah.
He turned
And
into
it
a
shows.
turnstile. Those 2 tries that ended up us losing the game, came straight on his edge between him and Sullivan.
I was actually really disappointed with our performance because we only really showed, I feel like we only showed ticker and capability for 20 minutes. We played for 20 minutes in that game, right? Critter came off in the 43rd, 44th minute. From there, we lost all leadership, we lost all direction, and that's really concerning because it seems like there's a leadership void when Critter isn't there. And as a team that is aspiring to a premiership, as a team that's aspiring to be top 4, that was top 4 last year, and we're looking to emulate this again this year, the fact that we don't have real leadership when Critter isn't there is actually, it's a worrying trend. If anything, it's actually quite worrying. So that's where I think I'm very disappointed. But to be a little bit more pointed about our problems, we are, I think, by far, the slowest team in the competition. Like, I know Dibbo will say it's the Dragons, but I think by far it's the Bulldogs. And I'll tell you why. The minute Max King, Sam Hughes, Salmon come off, Tupanua Hotboy, Man come on, we look like we're a different team. We actually get over the advantage line. We have fast leg speed. The ball gets out to our halves a lot quicker. So Man's passing ability is far superior to that of Jamin Salmon. Like, you know, and to be really, really blunt, Zaatar, when I mention specific players' names, this is not to attack them personally. This is not to attack their character. This is not to attack anyone directly, but it's more about analyzing and criticizing where we need to improve our game and where we think that there needs to be an improvement in the team. And quite frankly, when you're a professional sports person that plays first grade rugby league, NRL, you put yourself out there for the criticism. And so we're going to criticize. This is not, again, a personal attack. This is just to say that if we're serious about competing for anything this year, if we're serious about betting or even competing with the Panthers next week, we need to be realistic with our team choices. I think Blind Freddy could see that Jamin Salmon's play at lock is far too slow, especially with Hayward there being a new 9, learning his trade. Anyone can see that Sam Hughes and Max King are just not it for us. They're just not it for us. And then compound that with having the slowest backline in the competition, and you've got a really nasty recipe for failure. And we saw that very starkly on the weekend where we couldn't catch up to kicks or passes or plays that required some speed. So that the first try by Latrell, Montoya needed to turn and run, and he was outrun by Latrell. I understand that Montoya had to turn and run, but he wasn't even close to the ball, right? And any winger with even a little bit of speed that had a little bit more explosiveness could have caught up to the ball, or at least put his hand on the ball. Connor Tracy, look, he has his odd good game. He has a good game here and there, defends well, but it comes back to this whole idea that as a fullback, you need to be able to offer more than just tackle, all right, and run 100%. On fourth.
100%. He needs to be quicker. I thought he was out of position multiple times in this game particularly. I'm not sure what it is. Like, he does have some good defensive moments. He puts his body on the line. He plays with a lot of heart, and it's not an attack on character, but I think we need to start exploring options. At the moment, he might be the best fullback that we've got, but I'm sure there's younger guys with a lot more speed that offer a bit more in attack, because even in attack, I find that sometimes he's slow onto running the ball. He might have good moments. He does have some good moments, but often he's just caught lacking. There was 3 tries that he had
a direct impact on,
that he led in. Either directly or indirectly, he was involved in the play, like a knock on, being in the defensive line on our goal line. And I know it's a theme with some teams that the fullback is in the line. But if you're in the line, like, I'd expect the fullback to be aware that they're in the line and be ready to move. He was just way too slow off the mark.
And look, the thing is, other fullbacks can probably do that because they have the explosive speed to be able to make it to position, or they counterbalance that with their ability to attack, their ability to pass, their ability to kick, their ability to be a part of the attack. Whereas with us, Connor Tracy, I feel like plays like in attack anyway. Sometimes plays like another center. It doesn't really get involved as we need him to get involved. He does sometimes, but then he's either too slow or he's not in position, or
passing needs to be worked on as well. Like the same intercept 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, like I just don't think he's a grand final winning fullback. Like, I know that sounds really harsh, but if we're serious about building a team that's going to win the grand final, Connor Tracy is not it. And so, them saying they want to re-sign him for a couple of years, I don't know if they plan to move him to the wing or to the center or something like that, but he's not it. And to Zaatar's point earlier about not bringing Sherry on, look, the coach said he needed the communicator out there, right? Because Crichton is a communicator. Sean O'Sullivan communicates a little bit better than Sherry. Look, I get that the coach has his idiosyncrasies, but that, I think, it ruined the dynamic of the team too much, because I thought Galvin and Burton were actually attacking well together that game, and the minute the whole team was reshuffled, we lost our whole dynamic. We started creating all these errors that we otherwise wouldn't do. We started getting frustrated, giving away penalties. Now, I do want to admit something here. I do want to put my hand up and say I was wrong. So in the carousel that I put up on Instagram, I said that Galvin isn't a 7. Stop trying to force it. I actually think he did very well at 7. I thought he was everywhere. He has the most touches of any halfback in the game. And that's not to say touches are a metric in and of themselves that prove anything, but the fact that he is there, the effort that he's putting, the intent that he has, the energy that he's expending to be in the right position at the right time shows us that he's actually adequate as a half. And if we saw him being supported by the rest of the team with better go forward, with better, quicker centers, quicker wingers, more support when the breaks are made, you will see that he will actually start being able to be a lot more free. But right now, it feels like he needs to do everything. And so, I put my hand up and say, I was wrong. I'm happy to say I was wrong. I think that Galvin, maybe not the best 7. I still think he'll make a better 6 than he would a 7. But he can do it. And if you look at 20 years old, the amount of pressure that he's got on him and the way he's responded with energy, with intensity, with intent, it shows the character of the player. So, for example, if I was to compare him to Ethan Strange, last year, the comparisons were that Ethan Strange is the best 6 at 19 years of age. Fair enough, he was great last year. But you look at this year where he's expected to take the step up to become the main playmaker, to become the guy that the team's relying on. Now that he has Ethan Sanders and not Fogarty next to him, he's sort of crumbling in a heap. And that's not something that we take delight in. I actually think Ethan Strange is a great player. I want to see more of him. But if you compare the pressure that Galvin's been under for the last year over Ethan Strange, Galvin's been able to hold his head high and get through the pressure quite well. So for me, I have to admit, it's quite it's vindicating that he's doing so well despite our team not performing for him. I just don't think they're stepping up to the level that he needs to step up to. The other thing is that I feel like the game this year has changed considerably. It's a lot faster. The game is a lot faster, and we aren't able to keep up with that because we're so slow. Plain and simple. Yeah. When Tupanua, Hopoi, Man come on, they've got leg speed, they've got agility, they've got energy, we seem like we can keep up. The minute they're not on, our whole system slows down. It feels like it's bogged down in sand.
100%. Like, we essentially only score when when Man's on, and I think a lot of it has to do with how quickly he can move the ball around. Like Bailey Hayward, for example, I thought he had a much better game than he did.
Ran the ball a lot more.
Like, he stopped after like his first few runs, but like he was still getting the ball out a lot quicker. I still think he needs to work on quickening his service. Like, he does that reload. Like, he reloads like the same way that Marnie does it. And that used to frustrate me with Marnie as well. But like, he's improved, and I can see the vision with Bailey Hayward. So I think last week I was losing my mind at the 9, but I could see improvement there. But really, it's that the first receiver, the first person to receive it, Kurt Mann or Jamin Salmon. There's a massive difference between the two. Massive difference on how quickly he gets to Galvin, how quickly he gets to Burton, how quickly he gets to whoever's running the ball. We end up scoring a lot more when Kurt Mann's on. I haven't done the maths. I haven't like loaded all this stuff into ChatGPT or Claude and asked it to process the info. I could almost guarantee that we score 80% of our points when Kurt Mann's on the field. In that lock position, it's just way too slow. Defensively, Jamin Salmon is okay, but he gets spotted up quite a bit. Like, against the Knights, he got spotted up a lot. In this game, like, they were running at him like he was a clear target. Obviously Galvin was a target, and Tuala. I just think some players shouldn't be in our first grade squad.
Yeah,
and in our starting 17, they should be in the top 30. Good depth players, but I think they've just got like Serraldo from the very get-go when you started this podcast 2023. He came in, we had a shocker every year, but you can see all his decisions were
trending upwards.
Trending upwards, right? Like, going from F to D or to E, whatever. I can't go backwards. But from D to C, like all these player decisions that we're making, moving players on, moving people into different positions, were all about getting us not necessarily to a premiership, but just moving us up that ladder. And I feel like we're at the point now where at a C, for example, and we need to get to B. And what are the decisions that Serraldo needs to make? I think some players, unfortunately, need to make way for some of the young guys.
I agree.
And I think, and I hate hearing the chat, premiership window, I know, who is it? Fox is all over Galvin and just ripping into him, mostly because they don't like Gus Gould, and creating all this unnecessary pressure. But I think, some decisions need to be made to get us from C to B and then eventually to A. I don't buy into a premiership window being 2 years or anything like that. I think that's just a loser's way of saying we're not winning the premiership this year. I think there's always injury crises, there's suspensions. You just need to be in a position to win it, right? You need to get to the grand final to be able to win it. And I think some of these decisions need to be made now while we're still 5 rounds into the season. So we're not kicking ourselves in round 20. We should have made the decision in round 6.
And why I think these changes should be made is because we had a lot of utilities when it was still a 4-man bench. Now that it's a 6-man bench, we don't need to be covering so many different positions because we can have a center, we can have a wing, we can have a half, we can have 2 props, we can have a second rower. We don't need to have so many utilities. And if you look at even our bench, right, we have a small forward pack, but we have just as a smaller bench. The only guy we have really on the bench that makes any inroads is Stili Tupouniua. He's been one of our best buys. And so, unfortunately, some of our players just aren't performing, even some of the big names. So, for example, if you look at the game against the Rabbitohs, Max King, since Origin, has just been really poor. I don't want to single him out, but he's supposed to be our linchpin, our starting prop, our guy. He's our guy. And unfortunately, he's just not it. And Sam Hughes plays 22 minutes on average, makes 50 meters. I don't really know what we're getting with that. And even when Max King makes the meters, it's not over the advantage line. He's a hard worker, but he doesn't have the leg speed. It's never on the advantage line. Kick out. The whole game, he made 44 meters for 9 runs. I've said this for a year, and I'll say it again. Kick out needs to move to front row. Put Hayes on at right second row. Move Jacob Preston to his preferred left, right. Put Kikau in the front row. If we have a front row rotation of Max King, Leo Thompson, Stili Tupouniua, and Viliami Kikau, that is a front row to be feared.
100%.
That is a front row to be like, oh crap, this is who we're coming up against. And then you throw a Kurt Mann in there at lock, right, or a Finau Latu, or a Jack Todd, or whoever. There's so many young players we can bring on and fill that lock position. We've got a forward pack where we can say, okay, now we can cause a dent, and then you can afford to have maybe a few slower wingers, but then you won't need slower wingers because your props are making you to go forward. You can have wingers that are fast, that can finish, that can run don't have to do 200 meters a game. And so our whole dynamic just seems to be thrown off, and so we need to start figuring out how does our team balance itself out? Because if you look at our team, I also think our salary cap is a little bit unbalanced, because right now we don't really have depth in the backs or in the front row or at half. Like, we've got Sean O'Sullivan, but we don't have great depth. We just don't really have great depth in any of these positions, right? So why is the salary cap? Why does it seem so skewed, but not towards any particular position? I think we've evened out too much of in our salary cap. We don't have any genuine superstars, like, other than, I would say, Stephen Crichton at the moment. Lachlan Galvin's too young. And so
I think Burden and Galvin are in that conversation.
Ish.
No, I think Burden definitely is there. He just needs space created for him.
And
And Galvin, I get where it's going. He's not there yet, but he has the potential.
He's fantastic. Oh, like, I'm not laying them down, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like, there's no one that stands out other than Crichton as being like the best in his position.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's not spine player, so like we can't rely on him to break a game open.
Put him at fullback if you think he's that good. You know what I'm saying?
Don't even.
No, I'm just it's just a discussion.
Anxiety attack live on air.
We're not live, but you look. I was just. It was a deflating game because I thought up until halftime we were doing very well. I thought we were winning, and then after halftime when we lost Critter, it sort of all went to shit. I don't know how much of that is not bringing on a specialist centre to replace a specialist centre. I don't know how much of that is moving Critter to the left and leaving him there when he's clearly a right centre. I don't know how much of that is Burton going back to centre, Sean O'Sullivan coming in with only, on the back foot. Like, a lot of people, on socials came out and they said, "Oh, Elmo, you got your Sean O'Sullivan at 7, and how did that go for you?" As though they're like, they're happy at the failure of Sean O'Sullivan at 7. And these people are the ones who pretend to be the most loyal. Well, how could you be happy that Sean O'Sullivan failed? And how can you judge his term a failure or his time there a failure when he came in at the 37th minute, right, without the captain, when our momentum, our forwards were tired, right? We had come in after halftime. They probably practiced a particular type of play, and then Sean O'Sullivan needed to be Mr. Fix-It. So I sorry, but I don't accept those comments. That's quite poor form actually to come out and say, "Oh, well, Sean O'Sullivan failed." I don't think he did. I just think that there are weaknesses in our team we need to address. And I think Montoya's speed, Connor Tracy's speed and positional play, go forward from Max King and Sam Hughes and Salmon need to be addressed. We are poor across the field. And because we try and cover for our forwards with big backs, it's slowing down everything in our team. There are so many good players that we can go after right now that are not really wanted by the teams that would come into the Bulldogs and make a huge difference. And I think we'll address them in a different conversation, not now. But I think changes definitely need to be made. And look, I do want to say, right, we're not in a bad position, right? The club is not at desperate, in a desperate situation. We played much better against the Rabbitohs, and we're not far off getting to a position where we're going to be winning games again, especially even against better teams. I just think that we've started slow, and we need to build up very, very quickly. But I can see that the team is trying very hard, and they haven't given up, and they're playing for Seraldo. Even the fact that we scored in the last 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it was, the last 5 minutes shows that we're still fighting and we're still pushing. And only a few tweaks here and there are going to get us to where we need to get to. It's a shame that Critter is injured and he won't be there. But this could be a moment of not clarity, but it could be a real moment for someone to step up and take leadership by the scruff of the neck in the Bulldogs and say, "I'm going to be the next leader," while Critter isn't here.
Even while Critter's there, just in case someone gets injured and we don't have to sub someone on for communication.
Yeah, right. It was a very disappointing loss. Like it was a little bit deflating when we lost, to be honest. I
can't win with 60% completion.
Yeah,
it's just not acceptable.
Yeah. Look, and it all went to shit, right? Like we complete an average of between 75 and 80%. We completed at 61%. No team's going to win. Yeah. 61% completion. We copped 6-0 penalties in the second half. I know we were frustrated in that, but there's no way that we were that bad and they were that good. Like as you said before. Yeah. Load of crap,
it
right?
It just doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen that way. So, it is what it is. Any last thoughts?
No, I think next matchup is going to be us putting up a mirror against ourselves to see exactly where the holes are. It'll be a tough one. I just want to see who steps up. Like there's rumors Sherry's going to come back, and we'll cover it in our next in our preview video anyway. But I don't think we're that far off. I genuinely don't think we're that far off. It's just some like basic stuff that we're doing really well last year, like our defensive stuff that we need to get back on top of. And just none of this Jenga stuff. I don't want to see Jenga.
Yeah, too many changes happening too often in the middle of games is ruining our flow.
Especially in the spine, like don't change it mid-game. Like if you want to go like with Sullivan, like I genuinely don't think he's like a groundbreaking 7 or anything like that. But if you want to go with it,
start him
before the game.
Yeah.
Just start with him. And just make the call.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's doing a world of good for Burden as well to be shifted halfway through game, essentially being told you're not good enough to play 6, go back to centre.
Even though it's not true, actually. I think he's been running the ball. He's been doing very well.
Like, although the scoreboard doesn't reflect it, I think he's been playing relatively well. Like last year, I didn't think he had his best year at all. But I think he's been pretty good in 6 this year.
Yeah, I do too. Honestly, I really do. And I think, back your team. And yeah, don't make unnecessary changes. But yeah, look, that's our review of the Bulldogs and the Rabbitohs. We do have the Penrith Panthers this Thursday. Look, for the Bulldogs, I think a pass mark will be for us to just compete. And be sure to check out the rest of the podcast because we'll be talking about all the teams and all the games that happened in round of 5. Now, onto the Dolphins and the Sea Eagles. Who saw this one coming? We didn't because we all tipped the Dolphins.
Well, we said it could be an upset. So.
We said it could be an upset, but this isn't an upset.
No, it is. They almost had them.
This
This all close.
This is a flogging. Obviously, it was Kieran Foran's first game after the sacking of Anthony Seibold from the Sea Eagles. Look, it's such a it's a great turnaround. Definitely a good bounce back after really, really abysmal performances. It's crazy to think that this is the same team that couldn't even hold a ball last week.
Exactly. No one was running straight last week. Everyone was running away from the ball, running away from the defensive line. They were just playing side to side. I think it was the Roosters, I believe it was.
Yeah.
They had the opening try last week, and
it was great. Like in the first minute again with
the first minute, and then after that they couldn't do anything. Like Jake Trbojevic, that game, like 2 runs, like 3 meters or something like that. Their forward pack had no go forward. Hamale Olawakatu had like 100 errors last game. And he was getting, he had maybe 4 meters last game. But this game, it was like a completely different team. And I don't know if it's because Seibold lost the locker room, but if I'm being totally honest, obviously didn't see this coming, otherwise I would have tipped the Sea Eagles. I just struggle to believe this is the same 17 minus Saab that are between themselves making $8-9 million a year in salary cap, that were putting out those first 3 games, those crappy performances, and then coming out and putting 50 on the Dolphins, who everyone tipped to be, most people tipped to be top 8. Some went as far as top 4, crazy, but nonetheless, they put on this performance. They starved the Dolphins of possession. They capitalized on every opportunity that was given to them. They got the rub of the green. I thought they got away, not necessarily got away, but they weren't penalized. The ref packed up the whistle favorably for them, in my opinion. But every pass went their way. Ben Trbojevic looked like prime Jonathan Thurston. Some of his passes were unbelievable, and he was running the best lines I've ever seen. Luke Brooks,
prime Darren Lockyer at 6,
100%. Jamal Fogarty had another. He's given it all heart.
He's been 100% since he got
from
there.
Day one, 10 out of 10. So that's what baffles me. This is the same team, and Kieran Foran's come in. And he's straightened up their attack. I'm not sure if it's him or Seibold had lost the locker room, or the team generally just didn't show up the first couple of weeks and they felt bad. I don't. And it was a bounce back.
I think it's clear. Honestly, I think it's very clear that look. I don't know what losing the locker room means, but it's clear that they didn't want to play for Seibold.
Yeah, that's what I mean by it.
They just didn't want to play for Seibold. They didn't like his style. Maybe he was because if you look at even the way Turbo played, I feel like
2021.
Not 2021 per se, but he felt it felt like he was told, bro, just go out there and play. You're a legend. You're a great player. You're a Manly legend. Just go out and play. Do what you need to do to win. And look, the forwards responded. The forwards haven't been performing. And this week, if you look at their numbers, right? Taniela Paseka, 201 meters. Kobe Hetherington, who I don't think is a props asshole, ran for 113 meters. Hamali Olakawatu ran for 272 meters. 127 of those were post-contact. That is a record. I'm willing to bet that is a record. Ben Trbojevic ran for 161 meters. Corey Waddell, 186
They made the
meters.
Dolphins pack look like a bunch of preschoolers.
Honestly, it was nuts. Like how good they played, and then obviously on the back of that go forward, Luke Brooks and Jamal Fogarty were just putting the ball in the right place. Tolata Kula, Ruben Garrick, Leo Apawadi, Tom Trebojevic were having a field day because they didn't need to work that hard. They just need to be in the right time, right place at the right time, and they were scoring tries and they were making, inroads. Like Leo Apawadi ran for 228 meters. And look, it's definitely foreign. Like foreign, even at the Bulldogs, at Warriors, is always known to be a great leader. Tough player. No matter what he was going through, he was always playing tough. And to see the way he played, coming through and shining through as a coach, it's great. I don't know if this will sustain them enough to get them to the 8, but I do think this is a great showing by the Manly Sea Eagles, and they've got a big test against the very desperate Dragons next week. But there was a lot of great stuff that I saw from them, and I'll just be very interested to see whether they can maintain the rage throughout the rest of the season, and interested to see how Foreign handles the week-to-week coaching, because this is he was barely there a week.
Yeah,
he was barely there a week.
Oh, he was in the assistant role anyway.
I mean, as head coach, interim
as
head
coach, calling the shots. Like, obviously, great first game, but still hasn't been tested with injuries.
Yeah.
Any disputes,
losses,
anything that kind of happens in the locker room, personal lives, all that sort of thing. And Kieran Foran's probably one of the brightest minds out there. I don't think he's going to struggle too much.
Agreed.
But it's great for Manly, right? It's great for Manly. I hate the club.
Who doesn't hate
worst
Manly?
fans,
Yeah,
but
Manly's horrible.
like that performance is.
We hate you,
fantastic.
Manly.
I take like a prime Tom Trebojevic any day of the week.
Yeah,
to be honest.
100%.
Love seeing it. But the Dolphins.
What do you mean? Tolata Kula is my favorite player in the NRL
Yeah.
right now, bro. Literally, how is he not playing fullback? He will be one of the best fullbacks in the game. Better than Lehigh Hopewadi, mind you.
Yeah.
But look, I want to call something out, right? I want to on the Dolphins. Their forward pack. I'm going to read out their forward pack. Tom Gilbert, Max Plath, Felice Govusi, Corneli Lemuelu, Kulikefu Funafuiaki, Thomas Flegler, Morgan Knowles, Ray Stone, Francis Molo, Kurt Donahue. How were they so absolutely and utterly obliterated by the forward pack of Manly?
Well, the first glaring thing for me was how many times they turned over the ball.
It was ridiculous.
It was like, honestly, like embarrassing. Like they had like 14 or 15 errors in that game. They gave away 9-10 penalties. Anytime they had the ball, they actively looked for ways to hand it back over to Manly.
It was really
They
bad.
went out of their way to make sure that they gave prime possession to Manly, and there were just some brain dead tackles. I thought they were harsh. Like some of those penalties that were blown against them were harsh.
Yeah, the refereeing's been poor this year.
It's just very harsh, and like it wasn't being reciprocated. Like Dolphins weren't winning it with the ref.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, especially that first half. But if you look at like possession, like apart from like it being like 70-30 or whatever it was
It was 62-38
it was like
at the
30
end.
minutes of ball in play for Manly and
Yep.
like 17 minutes
Yep.
for Dolphins.
Yep.
Which
Is
the
remarkable.
Dolphins look like, honestly, like preschoolers.
Yeah, it was a really bad performance, and to be honest, like, they only completed that 64%.
It was very clunky. Like the ball, like getting to Katoa was clunky. Katoa had a very off game.
14 errors, 9 penalties conceded, 3 ruck infringements, 3 on report. They had a sin bin. They only used 6 interchanges. Everything seemed off about the way the Dolphins are performing. And to be honest, I don't think this year the Dolphins have been very good overall, even though they've won a couple of games. I don't think they've been great. And to be honest, like at some point, do you start questioning Christian Wolf? I know it's his second year with the team, but he had Wayne Bennett left him a very good team, and he's recruited some really good players. And it just seems like that he's not getting the best out of them at the
I
moment.
still think he has this year. I think it would be harsh to sack a head coach or even question his position after the first year. Like, we're only round 5. Like, I think by the middle of the year, like round 14, 15, if their record is like, or if the win rate is like 5-15, I'd be like, they're probably having that conversation about next year. But I think he's still got this year. Like, there's probably some players he wants to move on, some players he wants to bring in from the junior base. I expect him to be making changes over the next couple of weeks, especially if they they dish out stuff like this, because this is a very, very different performance to the Sharks game, which I thought the Sharks gave up, but it's very different performance. Like, they did nothing, and that was so clunky. No pass was sticking.
But that also comes from, like, what are they doing at training? Like, I don't know. It was really bad, to be honest. It was really bad, and I do expect the Dolphins to improve. Next week, the Dolphins have
A bye.
They
can work on all of it.
Hopefully they can, because this doesn't cut the mustard, in my opinion. All right. Next game, the Panthers against the Storm. So Dibbo said the Panthers are going to win by 20. They actually ended up winning by 40. And this is a remarkable performance by a team I think is the best team we have ever seen in this sport and that we will ever see. I mean, who knows what happens in 50 years, but in my lifetime, I don't think I'll see a better team. The way that they're playing, the way that they're defending, 5 in a row, they're probably going to beat us and whoever else they're playing. I know I'm willing to say they may go undefeated until Magic Round and beyond. This is honestly, it's a brilliant first 5 games, and to do this 50-10 against the Storm, who came second, finished second, who were runners up in the grand final after putting 32 points unanswered against the Broncos, who were the premiers last year, just shows the quality that the Panthers are playing with. Casey Clean, Freak, Thomas Jenkins, 12 games, in 12 tries in 5 games. Freddie Lussick was there at 9 in place of Mitch Kenny, had a great game. Nathan Cleary, I can't glaze Nathan Cleary any more than I already have. The guy is just unbelievable.
Blaze has improved out of sight as well.
Just running the ball better, finding himself in better positions. Brian To'o gets better. Dylan Edwards, fullback so far of the year. I don't really have much more to say.
It's like watching. I didn't even know what it's like watching. It was just like a clinical performance.
It was perfect.
Like Melbourne Storm completing at 94% or 95%, whatever it was. They both had like pretty decent possession. It just like on the eye test, like even if it didn't show me the stat sheet, it just looked like the Storm never looked like scoring. Like their first try, they didn't look like scoring before it, and they didn't look like scoring after it. Like I don't think they got their second try to like the 60th or 70th minute.
66 minute, yeah.
The line speed Penrith Panthers have is unbelievable. They are 100% always offside, but they move together as a line. So that like long 10, short 10, whatever the ref is taking them back, the ref could take them back 15 meters. They're still going to be 5 meters offside. Exaggerating a bit, relax Penrith fans, but like they move together as a line and they move quick and they hunt as a pack. They go after the ball. They follow the ball. They don't drop off the ball. If there's an offload, they move together, and you don't see a single tackle where it needs to be 1-on-1. There's always 2-3 in the tackle, and they move off the player. Like they'll manage. They'll give away 6 again. They don't care. For this team in the comp easily at the moment, and they follow that offload right through. Like the Storm did try to offload a few times. Never looked like doing anything with it. And
your point about them being the fittest in the competition, they're achieving this, and new rules have been brought in place where there's a 6 again, and where they're not, it's not exactly the same. So there needs to be some adjustment period, but they're just adjusting on the fly and getting better every week. They really are. Like this is the Storm, like one of the most successful teams of the last 25 years.
One of the best spines in the comp,
bro. Grant, Munster, Hughes, Farlongo. Oh, he's young, but he's blistering. He's very, amazing. Very good. But where this was lost was in the props, in the forwards, right? So the Panthers' average set distance was 44.5 meters. The Storm was 32.8 meters, which is, they were so much more aggressive in their running. All run meters, the Panthers had 1,958 meters, whereas the Storm only had 1,184 meters.
Good point on that. I don't think it was just the props. Like Melbourne's never had, or they have had a big pack in the past, but this year's pack is not as big as previous packs. But What I found interesting about Penrith, and even over the last couple of weeks, in the past, like it was all like 1 out, maybe 2 out plays every now and then, and just keep going, quick play the balls, and keep moving forward. They look like they were having fun with this. Like they were offloading, they were throwing the ball around, they were doing early shifts, spreading the ball out, like just very carefree footy, which I find very scary, especially because we're facing them this week. But the Storm were frustrated. Like
Very frustrated.
Within like 15, 20 minutes, they had no answers.
And you know what's interesting? We sort of called this in our sort of season preview when we were talking, and when we were giving our ladder prediction. I'll have the link for that down below. What I found very interesting was, or what I think is happening is the pressure of winning 5 in a row isn't there anymore. So they're not trying to do anything. They're just going out there and enjoying their footy and just trying to be the Panthers that we know that they can be. And look, I would argue this Panthers team's probably as good as, if not better than, the 2022 Panthers team or 2021 Panthers team. This is a great Panthers team that, you know, I don't... this is the weirdest thing that I'm going to say, right? Knowing everyone knows how much I hate the Broncos, but I actually think the only team that can challenge Penrith, but they have to be playing at like a 10 out of 10 game, is the Broncos. And people are going to hate me for saying this because they're going to think I'm biased. But the other team that I think has the DNA to potentially, not this week, but potentially at their best, to challenge the Panthers are the Bulldogs.
So I'd lean towards the Broncos because the Broncos play at a speed I've never seen the team play at.
It's ridiculous.
It's like you get tired watching. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
And I love it. It's so good to watch, but it's so exciting to watch. The only reason I say the Bulldogs can do it is because they have the defensive capability when they lock on. We haven't seen it so far this year, but if we can go back to...
I think we're a couple of plays away, but...
I think, look, once we get Leo Thompson
on
back...
our day, we could probably win.
Yeah.
But that's assuming that we play 10 and they play 8.
Yeah, they're not at their best. If they're at their best, I don't think anyone beats them, to be really honest. I don't think even the Broncos beat them.
No, they'll choke them out. Like, this is like top 3 spine in the comp, and they put 50 on them. And they were having fun with it. Everything was coming off. Everything.
For the Storm, look, I think it's clear they were out-muscled quite considerably. Stefano, Josh King, Liero, Joe Chan, Alec McDonald, Davey Moali, Jack Hetherington did nothing.
No one ran over like 2 meters.
The one that ran the most in the team actually was Fa'alongo, ran for 153 meters, and then all the forwards were under 100 meters. David Moali, 32 meters, Jack Hetherington, 19 meters. They need more out of them. They need more out of their bench, I think. But then also, you and I called it. We said that their fringes are very vulnerable, and their fringes were super vulnerable. Vulnerable. Like I know they lost Pappy, and then they unfortunately, what's his name's gone.
Katoa.
Yeah, Eliezer Katoa. Coates is injured.
Rehab at the moment.
And so that's weakened their edges. Anderson gone. Howarth is injured.
Yeah.
So they have lost a considerable.
Very weak edges.
Yeah, it's very, very weak edges.
Turnstiles on the
They'll get better, to be honest. I think they'll
both
get
edges though.
Yeah.
Like the Panthers predominantly been going down Jenkins' side the last few weeks.
Yeah.
This week they were just toying with them.
Yeah.
Like whatever side they wanted to go down, they went. If they want to go through the middle, they went through the middle.
Look, obviously this is the Melbourne Storm. It's not doom and gloom at all.
It is. Season's over. 50 points.
Oh, that's true. Actually, no team's ever won it after being
back it up.
Hit for a 50. But
Sack the coach.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
I think they'll definitely be back better and stronger next week.
I feel sorry for the Raiders. I think they've got the Raiders next week.
Yeah, they probably do. So that's gonna be a big game. It's gonna be. I think they'll bounce back well.
Yeah,
I think
they'll. Yeah. I don't think they go 4 in a row.
All right, we've already covered the Dragons and the Cowboys. Now we're gonna cover the Titans and the Broncos. What do you think of this game?
I thought the Titans bungled quite a bit of opportunity. I thought the Titans came out to play. Unfortunately, they obviously didn't get the win, but I thought they came out to play. They came out with intensity. I thought, like that first try to Reece Walsh, like credit to Reece Walsh for great kick and putting himself in a position to catch it and score. But I thought outside that, like I thought the Titans had it over them in the first half. They made more of their opportunities. They actually even finished the game with more possession. It's just the Broncos are just a class above, even with the injuries to Reynolds, Reece Walsh. Who else went down? Was it Piakora? I can't remember who else went down. There was a couple of injuries in that game. But I thought the Titans showed up. They're just not good enough.
So I'm going to agree with you, but I'm also going to say I thought the Broncos played very well,
of course,
to win. And I thought the Titans should be very proud of that performance. Look, the thing is, in context, new coach, right, doesn't have the team that he wants, still building, right, have been really poor the last few weeks, right? They did beat the Dragons, but it's not really anything to write home about. But other than that, they haven't been that great. To come out with this performance against the Premiers, I thought was great. And even when Adam Reynolds and Walsh were playing, I still thought the Titans were performing well, right? On the Broncos, one person, he's my least favourite player in the whole game, Katoni Staggs and Ezra Mann. They're my two most disliked players in the whole competition, and I thought they played very well. I thought they had great games. It really is what it is. I thought Ezra Mann, he made a try-saving tackle. Ezra Mann, set up his outside backs and stuff for tries when he didn't have Adam Reynolds and Reece Walsh to do that for him. So credit where it's absolutely due. Both Katoni Staggs and Ezra Mann were very, very good in this game.
Goal kicker.
Honestly, you know what? I'm not begging him out because it's not his thing, right?
I know. I thought Patrick Carrigan had a good game. 49 tackles, 180 meters. He was obviously making up. I don't know. I thought Willison actually had a pretty good game. Payne Huss came back a bit slower than I think everyone expected that.
Yeah, 100%.
Coming back from an injury, it's obviously still there and he's probably getting needled up. But I thought Carrigan and Willison held down the forwards. Unfortunately, on the Titans side, I thought their forwards were lacking a bit again. The experienced forwards, not the young guys.
Look, they started with Cleese Haas. It was good. Tino ran for 156 meters. I thought he had a much better game this week. Do you know who's really impressed me for the Titans?
Yeah.
Kurt Morin.
He's really good.
Bro,
He runs with so much intent.
He's impressed me a lot since he's gone to the Titans. He's given them that little spark up the middle that I think they lack with not having Aaron Clark there. I think they're missing Aaron Clark quite a bit up that middle. And last year they didn't have it at all, but Curtis Morin's offering that a little bit more. I actually don't think he would be a bad 13 for them. Well, I know that sounds so weird, but having him at 13 for the opening 20 or maybe second 20 in place of Chris Randall could be a great move. Mo Fotuaika, he's fallen off a cliff. I don't know what's happened to him. He's fallen off a cliff.
For me, I thought Tino let him down with some costly errors, right on
their 20. Yeah.
Just like uncharacteristic. I'm not sure what's happening there. Probably just new playing style this year, whatever it may be. But I think he needs to get them out of his game because it's been week in, week out, those errors.
I think
you expect more from your $1.2 million player.
Yeah, that you've signed for 10 years.
Yeah.
I will say having AJ Brimson at centre, I thought he played well at centre. Really got involved.
I wouldn't mind him at the Bulldogs.
I wouldn't mind him at the Bulldogs either. Keanu Kinney had a good comeback. I thought this game, Keanu Kinney had a really good. He did knock the ball on a couple of times. I know.
That one knock on.
Yeah, I know.
I'll forgive everything else except that one knock on.
I know, but he did play and they did put him under a lot of pressure, and he did play very well. Like overall, I thought Lockie Elias, bro. Look, people aren't going to agree with me, but I thought Lockie Elias does well to play second fiddle to Jaden Campbell. Really, I do. I really, really do. Jaden Campbell's a freak. I love Jaden Campbell. Can't believe he re-signed with them. Wish we threw the bank at him, but we didn't. Love Jaden Campbell, who would have been an awesome fullback for us. But Lockie Elias is good. Look, there's good signs for the Titans. There's good signs for the Titans.
They're heading in the right direction.
I am concerned for the Broncos, unfortunately, because Adam Reynolds is out for a couple of weeks. Walsh could be out for up to 8 weeks. Ben Hunt out for 8 weeks with an MCL.
Is that confirmed?
Yes.
Okay, so they've got quite a bit of injuries.
Yeah, so they've copped quite a few injuries. They've got Ezra Mam.
They've got great depth, though.
Who are they going to play at 7?
At 7, Ben Hunt's gone too.
Yeah. And
Not Kobe Black.
well, yeah, I was going to say this would have been the best time to have Kobe Black.
Well, not Kobe Black.
You know,
Would it be?
I mean, they could play Katoni Staggs at 6 and Ezra Mam at 7.
That's risky. This Antonio kid, is he a halfback?
No, he's a winger or fullback.
Okay.
Look, I'm sure they've got the depth that they can.
Surely they have someone.
Yeah, and who cares? It's the Broncos anyway. I hope they lose, but they played very well, and this was an entertaining game, mind you, because they both like the speed of this game in the first 60 minutes was insane.
It was like back and forth. It was like ping, you know,
I
that
love it.
pinball
Yeah,
machine
yeah,
game
yeah,
that
yeah.
you used to play when you come home from school on that rubber mouse and you had to clean it out and you're smashing the space bar and the shift buttons. That was this game. I liked it. I remember watching this game and I was making a comment to, I'm not sure if it was our group chat or another group chat, secret group chat without you in it, where we're saying like the speed that the Broncos play at is unbelievable, and the fact that the Titans stayed in the context
Was really
contest,
good, really good.
actually surprised me.
Yeah. Oh, another guy I want to give a big shout out to is Jesse Arthurs. He had to play fullback back there, and I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a great job there at fullback. I would love Jesse Arthurs at the Bulldogs.
I'd love for him to stay at the Broncos.
All right, we differ. Next game, Warriors and Sharks. I gotta say, I found this game a bit boring.
I'm actually the opposite. This is the first Sharks game that I watch, and I'm like, I could actually watch the whole 80 minutes without contemplating cancelling my KO subscription.
No, I found the Warriors were very boring.
Very lackluster.
Yeah,
It
like
was only DWZ that was like involving himself in the game.
he got a hat trick.
He got a hat trick, but not that he created the opportunities himself, but he put himself in those positions to score. But I honestly thought, even though that the Warriors scored the first try, they never looked like winning. Ever. Not even for a single
Not
second.
even for a minute. Yeah.
Not even for a minute.
Yeah, no.
The Sharks did what the Sharks have been doing well for the last couple of years. Like when they're all clicking and humming, like they control field position. They got the forwards to control the middle. They kept Leka Halasima quiet for the game. Like they never, in this game in particular, they hunted as a pack. Like the game must have meant something for them. There was always 2 or 3 in the tackle. They chased down the ball wherever it was. They were just in it. Like there was like there was an intercept try. Like so -6 from the Warriors for that. So I think like the scoreline's a bit flattering for the Warriors over here. I thought they got dominated.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm actually really disappointed because I thought when Luke Metcalf comes back, they would be a better team with him in it. But honestly, I feel like what he's done is he's taken a little bit of the shine off Tanner Boyd, and he's sort of forced Tanner Boyd to play second fiddle. Where I think Tanner Boyd needs to be in control. So
there was a couple of moments in the game. I'm not sure if you remember it. Tanner Boyd ran into the line. He's been doing that really well, like digging into the line and then getting it out. So he digs into the line and digs it out. And Metcalf last year had an amazing running game. Metcalf wasn't there to catch the ball,
which is weird.
He's been off. He's been like completely off.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, granted, he's coming back from an ACL. It's not an attack on Metcalf. I think he needs to warm into it. It could probably do. I'm not sure how his hamstring's gone. I've been seeing mixed
I think he's
reports.
injured. He's injured now for a few weeks.
I think it could do him a world of good just getting into New South Wales Cup just to build confidence on smashing that knee.
I agree.
Like just landing on it and being comfortable to step off it. But I think he's been a hindrance to their attack. Yeah. Actually, I think it's Warriors up against the Storm in Amy Park. That's their next matchup.
Yeah.
If they go back to their winning ways or being a bit more competitive, I'm going to be interested in seeing what Andrew Webster does where Metcalf is healthy, because I think Tanner Boyd has been playing well. But this game from the Warriors, it's been
very mid.
Very un-Warriors. Yeah. Like they've lost it. Like they built a lot of their game on defense and being hungry for the ball and chasing every opportunity. And I thought they were lacking in this game. And
I feel like they're not playing with the same speed they were playing with 2 weeks ago, which is weird. I don't know if it's because they're not at home anymore, or I really don't know what it is.
I could probably tell you that Chance shouldn't be centre.
Oh, 100%.
I think he's their best fullback.
Yeah, I agree.
In the team.
Look, I rate Tane Tuapiki.
I rate him, but like that edge got demolished.
I think they're
Like,
they're
they were
weak.
scoring at
yeah.
will.
Yeah. I think Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's not had a good year either.
Well, he had a shocker this game.
Yeah. I remember I even mentioned that last week I said that Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is out of form. And so, look, I agree with you. I think Dallin Watene-Zelezniak's also slowed down a lot.
Has slowed down.
I think he slowed down a lot. So, yeah, look, they've got Chanel Harris-Tavita to come in. I think they'll go back to being a lot better next week. I don't know if they'll beat the Storm, but I reckon they'll come close. Because I think they have it in them. The only person that they're missing would be Metcalf and Barney. And I thought they were playing better without them. Which is so weird to
Barney's
say.
a big addition to the team.
Yeah, because he doesn't impact it.
Well, he came off the bench anyway, like when before his thumb broke or whatever.
Yeah. But what I do want to say is props to the Sharks for, they got smashed for the games that they lost, but then they've come back really well.
And Hines has been super involved in their wins as well. Super involved.
I still I'll never be convinced with Hines at 7.
That's fair enough. But
I think because I think Braden Trindle's been the better of the halves with his kicking game and his passing game and everything. But Hines, as you say, is very involved. He loves to be around the team and be in everything good that they do. So they've been super impressive since they got smashed. Like they've just come back and said to themselves, since they lost to the Dolphins, they've just been like, no, we need to prove ourselves. And they've done well. They've done very, very well against the Raiders and now against the Warriors. Even though their forwards still aren't performing to the level that I think they need to be. Adam Fanua-Blake still only ran 100 meters. Toby Rudolph 70 meters. Hazelton 87 meters. Oregon Kafusi 52 meters. I still think they're a little bit off, but they'll get better. They'll get a lot better. But props to them for coming back. I didn't find this game very interesting at all.
No, I liked it. I like it when Hines is informed. Like, granted, you're not convinced. I don't think he's the flashiest half, but he gets his body on the line. He makes his tackles. He might drop off for 1 or 2 tackles, but I like it when he's confident and playing. Never in the Blues jersey, but in the Sharks jersey. I'll take it.
This is another blue jersey, but this win was off the back of their backs. Their backs were everywhere. I could not believe how good their backs were this week.
They played really well.
Honestly, the thing about the Sharks is when their backs play well, they're so quick and they're so on the ball and they perform to a high level. I'm such a big fan of Kale Iro. I think Kale Iro is a great center. He's a great player.
One of the best in the league.
And as much as I dislike Samuel Stonestreet, he's a good winger.
He's got speed.
Bro, he's such a good winger. He's good under the high ball.
He's really good under the
Runs
high ball.
runs a lot of meters. He's a fantastic player. And look, Sione Katoa, I think, can be very up and down. But when he gets it right, he's fantastic.
100%.
He's so good, but he has brains.
Who was it that got injured? Was it Raymond or Katoa? And Talakai came on. Super handy replacement. I can't remember who it was.
I'll tell you who it was. Sorry. It was Jesse Ramian.
Jesse, okay.
But Talakai came on, Randy. Ran like a forward, bro.
In the centres. Handy replacement.
Well, he's great for he's going to be great for the Perth Bears.
Yeah,
he's going to be so good for the Perth Bears. He's a great pickup. Bryn Nickora only played 20 minutes, came off the bench as well, which I thought it was his game back, but still. I don't understand what's going on with their forwards. They've been so down on form. They still won this game comfortably.
I think they're due for a change up at the club. I know they played well this game or better in this game, and they've made the finals each year or whatever it is under Craig Fitzgibbon.
Too much of the same, though, you reckon?
I think it's too much of the same. The thing is, if the Warriors played 10 out of 10, everyone played 10 out of 10, the Sharks played 10 out of 10, I actually think the Warriors would win. They're a faster pack. They can move the ball around quicker. And I think that's where the Sharks are lacking. Their forward pack is really big. They dominate the Dogs, for example. But to generate speed, it could only come from the outside backs. Their forwards just aren't quick enough with their play of the balls, in my opinion, anyway. And I think their halves combo is a bit weak, like the Dogs. No different. I think it's 2 6s.
I sort of get that. Yeah.
But I think they need a change up, some more life in the team. Because if Hines or Trindle is off, the whole team's off.
I agree with you, and that's been their main problem for a while now. Is that combination between Hines and Trindle it's very inconsistent. They're not always. If they were able to get that relationship right, they would always be good. but they're not able to. In any case, look, I thought it was a boring game, but kudos to the Sharks. Good on them. All right. Knights and Raiders. Knights beat the Raiders 32-12 at McDonald Jones Stadium.
6 tries to 2.
Can
Firmly
I-
holding the spoon, apparently.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by the Knights. I am so impressed by the Knights. Like, well done to Justin Holbrook. They look like they are a completely different team.
Very different team. Very different team. I thought as soon as Sasagi crossed over, that it was going to be like 500-0. Honestly, I thought it was going to be like 500-0. But the Knights are playing so well. Very well. Completing well, tackling well, minimizing errors, defending their errors, defending the penalties they give away. Like, they've still got some brain explosions in them, but they're backing themselves. They're a team playing with confidence.
They are a team playing with belief, right? Like, the thing is, right now, as the team stands, the only difference they have is Sandon Smith and Trey Mooney from last year.
Yeah.
Pongas is still injured. Dylan Brown's injured, right? They are winning and winning well, right? They're only got 2 different players, and Sandon Smith is nothing to write home. Like, I'm not bagging him out. I'm just saying, like, he's not a Dylan Brown or a Kalen Ponga. And Trey Mooney is still a very young, inexperienced prop.
Yeah.
But the others, Dominic Young is playing like a new player.
Yeah, Frizzell, Saifidi are both playing like prime.
Unbelievable,
New South
bro.
Wales Origin forwards.
Unbelievable. Like, I am so impressed by everything because they're defending like a pack, they're attacking like a pack, they have the belief, they're scrambled defense. Like, everything about the way they're playing says that the only difference between last year's team and this year's team is attitude. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just attitude, and it's all come from the change in the coach. Like, Fletcher Sharp, I still don't believe he's the best 5'8" in the team. I think that he can't be at 5'8". He's got to be on the wing or on the center or something, right? But my God, bro, what
amazing.
the hell?
I'll probably argue if you tell you he's the best 5'8" at that team. Actually, I'd prefer him at fullback. He needs to be in the spine. He can't be on the wing.
No,
he needs to be in the spine.
All right, but where do you, like, for example, when Dylan Brown comes back, is he a 7? Because if you, like, Sandon Smith's playing out of his skin, bro. Imagine him at 7 and Dylan Brown at 6.
Yeah, see, I think Fletcher Sharp needs to stay there, and I think Dylan Brown could go into 7. They paid 1.3 million for a reason. I don't think you just drop him to the bench.
Bro, put him at lock.
Dylan Brown?
Nah, I know.
No.
That's a stupid. But do you know what I mean? Like,
I think Sharp needs to be in the spine. Like, the more touches he has on the ball, the better for the Knights. Dylan Brown, I think, he was playing there a couple of weeks ago before his injury, and he was playing well there.
He was killing it,
and
man.
they were still winning. And Ponga, obviously, like, he just walks straight back into his.
Whichever position he
Even
chooses.
if he missed the first 25 rounds, round 26, he
Yeah,
comes straight back
100%.
in.
They just, like, Fletcher
They're all
Sharp,
playing well.
he's so quick.
And he's electric as well. Like, he creates opportunities out of thin air.
Which-
He's like the perfect player. Like, you need him in the spot. He cannot play
So
anywhere
good,
else.
man.
He's a threat with the ball. They're playing like a well-connected team. Like, I still don't, like, that lineup, you don't look at it and think, like, they're going to blow the Raiders away. Like, these are the minor premiers from last year. And then to go do it to 2 top 4 teams
Yeah.
in 2 weeks. Like, pump the Dogs and then go pump the Raiders.
Look, I do think the Raiders are very, very down on form. Like,
Yeah, we'll probably need to...
we'll get into that. But I just want to point out, like, you know, Pasami Solo only played 15 minutes, but still ran for 67 meters.
I think he needs more game time.
I agree. Look, I agree. But it's like when
they dominated this game.
Yeah, when Saifidi's running 178 meters, Dylan Lucas running 167, Frizzell 166. You know, you sort of can be very liberal with your bench. But look, their whole team's performing well. Like Greg Marju ran for over 200 meters, 242 meters, and he's playing with like a guy with confidence. He's not playing like he's down on confidence. And I hope they keep this up because it's very impressive and they're actually very exciting to watch.
Dan Gagai is playing like he's 26.
Bro, he's playing like he's playing for Queensland.
Yeah, it's like absolutely killing it. He might even get call up from Billy Slater. He's known to do
Dumb shit. But yeah, look, I'm very impressed with the Knights. I'll tell you what, like, it's gonna be really sad to see Sandon Smith be told, "Hey, you got to go to the bench," because he has been everywhere for them, scoring tries, setting up tries, kicking goals, just doing everything that's needed of him.
It's not the worst, right? Like, he could come in, like, if the team is not at 100%, and you can count on him to fill in the role. I think, I don't know if he'll get too much game time, though.
I think what they'll do is
they
can drop Harrison Graham and have him as the utility, or drop Tyson Gamble. Like, I don't think Tyson Gamble should ever be anywhere near this team again. Like, he should never, ever be near this team.
I think he's just there to make up the numbers because they don't have depth.
Yeah, no, I mean, fair enough. Any other particular thing that stood out for you for the Knights?
No, I thought they all played really well. I thought it was a good team effort. Like, when towards the end of the game, as the Raiders were attempting a comeback, I thought they scrambled really well, and there was a lot of try saves and a lot of arm grabbing tackles, but there was more than one happening. Like, there was multiple players jumping in.
Very uncharacteristic of the Knights.
What do you mean?
Like, the Knights are not known to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Last year they would have just folded.
Yeah, straight
like,
out.
They would just
like a deck of cards, just straight folded. So it's very interesting, and they kept going the whole round. Like, their last try was in the 76th minute, which means, like, even though the Raiders were attempting a comeback, the Knights were like, "Nah, sorry guys, we're here to stay." Onto the Raiders. You know what? I think the Raiders are suffering from the same thing the Bulldogs are. Last year was a curse for them. They had a very easy run. They played well. And this year, they're sort of expected to back that up, and they probably don't have the cattle that they think they do, if I'm really honest. And that's also about the Bulldogs. Like, I'm not just saying that just about the Raiders, but I just feel like there's a lot being expected of Ethan Sanders that I just don't think he can provide. And right now, his forwards are not playing like they should be in order to give him that.
That's probably where I focus a lot of my attention is outside, like Noah Martin and Hudson Young, who I believe Hudson Young has his brain explosions, like pulling Dom Young's hair.
That's so stupid, bro.
But like, that's like been the theme for their forward pack all year. But I think Hudson Young and Noah Martin have been the standouts for their forward pack.
100%.
Which it shouldn't be the edges. Like, I'd expect Tapane to be given that 10 out of 10 every week. I expect more from Papali, Horsburgh. They've just all been playing like, honestly, like 5 out of 10.
Well, I mean, Joseph Tapane ran for 169 meters, but I feel like the impact isn't there anymore. Last year, like, if he ran, you knew he was running. This year, there's just not
but
that.
It's the intensity in defense.
Yeah,
as well,
you're right.
This year, I feel like they're lacking in that. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure how Ricky can address it. But I think they're not too far. I don't think they're too far off. I think they're 1 or 2 steps behind. But like, in this game specifically, I just thought the hunger wasn't there. And they left it way too late. Like, why do you switch on with 15 minutes to go?
But like, it's also like, the other thing I realized is, like, their passes aren't sticking. They're not getting the rub of the green they were getting last year. Like, Kaya Weeks, everything he did last year was magic. This year, I just feel like he's knocked the ball on, or hasn't been able to complete, or
can't drop the ball 14 times as a team.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I agree with you.
Like, it's poor.
Poor discipline, yeah.
Another professional foul for Tamale.
Yeah.
Like, this is, I think, this is the 3rd week in a row they cop a sin bin.
What was the sin bin for? I forgot what it was for.
I think he was in the caught in the play. I'd have to go back.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was for, but yeah, like
this is the 3rd sin bin 3 weeks in a row. Last week it was Corey. The week before it was Papili, and this week it's Tamale.
Yeah.
That's 3 weeks in a row, 3 sin bins. This is the third week in a row they lose the penalty count. This is the third week in a row they lose the error count. Like, it's just the all round
Poor discipline. Yeah.
poor discipline. That's creating a lot more pressure, on the back line to create, more pressure on Ethan Strange to be able to create out of nothing. More pressure on Ethan Sanders to create out of nothing. But you can't expect to be creating anything if that's like you get the ball and you give it away on third tackle.
And a lot of it's from their forwards, to be honest. Like, their forwards aren't I thought
So 2 out of the 3 sin bins over the last 3 weeks were from their
Yeah.
forwards.
And Corey Horsburgh is so down on form. Like, it's actually a shame because I thought he was one of the better forwards last year.
Yeah, he led a lot of their line speed, the intensity, the aggression that we came to know last year, right? And yeah, I did say it in the preseason review they had a soft draw and they overachieved, whatever. But they still had to go out there and win those games, and they did that last year. This year, I feel like they're just 1 or 2 steps behind the mark. I'm not sure if Ethan Sanders is going to be the answer. Long term, he could be, but the guy's like 20 years old. This is probably his 6th or 7th.
But he hasn't been poor.
No, he hasn't.
So it's not like he's going to drop him for Kobe Black.
No, I'm not suggesting that he get dropped at all. I just expect more from their more seasoned players.
Yeah, I agree.
While these young guys.
Yeah, I
learn the
agree,
ropes.
100%.
Sasagi's killed it. In my opinion, Tamale's been fantastic. One knock on his game is that Simbin, but apart from that, he's been fantastic week in, week out. Massive carries. I think he's pumped out 200 plus meters over the last couple of weeks. And he carries with intensity KOX. Yeah, some of his stuff hasn't stuck this year, but I think he's been one of their rays of hope, to be honest. Hudson Young, as much as I don't want him starting in Origin, he's been
fantastic, yeah.
He's been really good. But
And Noah Martin, and then everyone else, like Adam Mariota, Josh Papali'i's not been informed this year. Joseph Tarpanay not playing what we know he should play. So look, I honestly don't think their problems are as bad as their losses
They're
look.
not far off.
Yeah, I think they are far off right now, but the fixes aren't big, if that makes sense. It's an attitude adjustment for their props to go out there and hit hard. And I think one of the problems
below the head though.
One of the problems I think has been is that they're facing teams that they're not respecting the opposition. Like, they probably came in against the Knights and thought, they got lucky against a really bad Bulldogs team. The Knights are proving that they are a real threat.
100%.
So the next game, they're facing the Rabbitohs, if that should be a good test of them. If they am up against the Rabbitohs and they can put it on the Rabbitohs forward pack, that this is a winning Raiders team. Do you get me? It gives space for Sanders and Strange. But I think Strange has been down as well. Not having Fogarty outside him is definitely impacting them. I think it's definitely impacting the team.
100%. I think it will improve, but it's going to come down to discipline.
Yeah.
Forward pack getting a bit more aggressive below the head. And I still want to see more from Sanders.
Yeah, look, but he's young, bro. You got to give him time.
I know he's
at least Ricky Stewart's man enough to give this guy a shot. Look at the Bulldogs coach. I know. Anyway,
need Ethan Strange to step up a little bit as well, alleviate that pressure. But it could be done by switching sides because Ethan Strange
more left
played
side,
better on his left side in this game. But last year he played on the left.
Yeah.
This year he's been playing a lot more on the right.
Yeah.
I feel like he's not.
When he does switch to the left, he makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You can see, even against us in that last 10 minutes, whatever it was. But look, great win by the Knights. I think they're a real threat. And imagine how good they go when Ponga and Brown come back. Be a great team. All right, last game, which was played today, the Eels and the Wests Tigers. Wests Tigers come away with the win 22-20 at a packed Combank Stadium. It was so good to see on the TV just how much noise all the fans were making. There was a good Tigers turnout there as well. I can't believe this is the Tigers. I honestly cannot believe this.
You know what? I need to make a public announcement to all Tigers fans out there that watch the podcast. Please like and subscribe because I'm going to say some very nice words to Tigers supporters, fan base, the club. I still think senior management and that board is in shambles. But Benji Marshall has done a fantastic job this year. And I want to I've seen a psychologist over the last couple of weeks, and the Tigers are no longer my most hated team. I genuinely enjoyed this game.
Who's your most hated?
Oh, Manly.
Really?
Yeah, because their fans are like ranked, man.
No, mine are the Broncos.
Shout out
Always.
to Hello Sport.
Mine is the Broncos.
Yeah,
Always the
I
Broncos.
get the Broncos, but the Tigers, in my opinion, this game for me was like a really good test. Like, did they get lucky against the Warriors? Did they get lucky the last couple of weeks? But without Luai, to be able to close out a golden point game,
That is
I was like,
impressive.
this is fantastic. Like, they all played like a team. Everyone ran with intent. And I actually I think they suffocated Parramatta.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Parramatta were a chance until that sin bin,
Yeah, 100%.
which we'll discuss. But I don't think Parramatta were a chance. And that's a team with Mitchell Moses in it,
Yes.
with Pezzett in it,
Yes.
with Josh Adakar in it, Bailey Simonson, a strong forward pack in Junior Polo, Tuivasa,
Jack Williams,
Jack
Katonga,
Williams. You have talent.
Dylan
in
Walker.
exactly
you know,
right.
Newcomer,
Like
yeah.
a strong lineup. The Tigers obviously absolutely dominated right across the park. Their backline was fantastic. Taruva will be my team of the week. And Jock Madden, where'd you come from? Will literally...
Oh, shitting on him, bro.
Yeah,
Bruh.
I take that back. Jock Madden, like, change your name to Darren Lockyer 2.0. Like, he was fantastic. I thought he went missing for maybe like 5-10 minutes. And I almost lost it when it was in Golden Point where he didn't know what to do. And he ended up passing it to Dewey. Then they got a result from it. Like, I think it was Jack Williams knocked it on. But Jock Madden, in the absence of Luai,
He's done a stellar job.
This team last year would have buckled.
Oh, they would have lost
And-
by 40.
I would have closed my tipping up because I actually tipped the Tigers before the game, and I think if it wasn't for the sin bin, they would have won by 18 points.
I don't think the Eels get to 20.
Yeah,
I think that the Tigers were defending that well that if they didn't cop the sin bin, I think that they would have kept the Eels under 10 points and they probably would have scored an extra try. And here's the thing, right? Valentino Tavana, Hamasi Makasini, and Luke Lolili, right, have probably played a combined 15 to 20 games altogether.
yeah.
The way that they defended and the way they were playing was remarkable for such a young backline. Dreamball is still quite young. So is Sunia Taruva. They're very young. They're not an experienced backline. For them to be playing the way they're playing is remarkable. They have speed, they have size, and they have the determination and the trust of their coach. And the way they're playing, for me, is just great. Like, but then you go forward and Jock Madden, Adam Dway here, not the best halves pairing, right? Some would argue this is a shit halves pairing. Playing out of their skin, playing their roles perfectly, doing what needs to be done. Go to their forwards. All playing the roles that they need to play. Their second rowers, Fayunu, Pierce Paul, I would argue have been some of the best second rowers in the game. Alex Twell. You're making fun of him, bro.
Where'd he come from?
Bro, he's playing so well. Then you've got the bench, Sayone Fayunu, Royce Hunt, Alex Seyfarth, Latu
Royce
Fayunu.
Hunt's found form again.
Bro, what the heck? How is this the same team that was playing last year?
If you look at the stats, stats aren't everything, right? Like, we know that. So don't come at us in the comments, but like and subscribe.
No, come at us.
Like, this is why we both agree that Parramatta was never in it. 2,000 run meters to 1,500 run meters. The average set distance by the Tigers was 40 meters to the Eels
32, yeah.
47 tackle breaks to 21 tackle breaks. Post contact meters, 633 post contact meters to 410. Offload 17 to 10. Whereas
They killed them with their offload.
they ran rings around them.
Bro, it was
21
nuts.
missed tackles to 47 missed tackles.
Nuts.
Errors and whatnot, all fairly similar. Like 6 against, fairly similar. Errors is similar. The Eels conceded 7 penalties. This is a point I'm going to we'll come to when we smash the Eels. Is the Tigers just won it everywhere in the park? like right across the park. Like Buller, I thought had a good game. I thought he was a bit uninvolved. When they won against the Warriors, I felt anyway that he really just showed up in good moments, and I wanted to see more of him. In this game, he played his role perfectly. Taruva, standout performance. The two young guys, Makasini, Lalili, and Tavana, all had fantastic games. Jock Madden, game of the year. Dewey, fantastic game. Twal, fantastic game. Terrell May, fantastic game. Kai Pearce-Paul, like, buy of the century.
Honestly, Kai Pearce-Paul for me was the winner. Like, he won. He was the man of the match. Like, I know Taruva had a great game and everyone else, but Kai Pearce-Paul has 2 try assists in this game. You know, for a second rower, like 2 line break assists, 2 try assists, great offload, great sidestep, great agility, great speed. Everything about this guy is quality. You know, I know the Knights are doing very well and they've got good second rowers, but like, how do you let someone like Kai Pearce-Paul go? And the Tigers, like, kudos to them for signing him, but he was fantastic. He was they had no answers to his defense, to his attack. The defense had no answers to his attack. Look, this was a well-connected team performance. Like this, you can say, like, no one really stands out in the stat department for the Tigers, because
Which is good. That's what you want.
That's exactly what you need, because you don't want one person to stand out for you and everyone else, like, just relying on this one person. Everyone played well. And you know, the fact that Tavana and Makasini are keeping Jarrell Skelton on the bench, for me, is, you know,
Fantastic.
it's great. Well done to the Tigers. I hope you guys can continue this and make the 8, because I think the way you guys are playing now, you absolutely deserve it. And you know, I've been on the Tigers bandwagon for a long time. Last year I said you guys would make the 8 and you sort of buckled, and this year you guys are showing that grit, that tenacity that we've maybe not seen in the last few years. You guys are showing the mental fortitude to fight through difficult situations, and I think that all comes down to having Adam Dwyer at 7.
100%. I think this game's going to be a world of experience for him when it gets deeper in the season.
100%.
As teams improve and they get, like, I think the Tigers no doubt to get in the finals now for me. For the first time in like 400 years.
2011.
It's going to be fantastic for him. Like, this experience, like, it really showed, like, to close out the game, they lacked that bit of polish, and I think Luai will add that when he comes back in. But
yeah, I mean, how good are they going to be with Luai? Like, they played against Manly, they smashed them. They were very good. Luai was all over the place. So very excited to see Luai come back.
But the Eels.
Can I just say something? Mitchell Moses should stop sooking and just focus on the game. I thought he had a good first 20 minutes, and then he fell away.
Came back right at the sin bin.
Only, and that's because it was a sin bin. You know, they were down on player, but I'm not very happy with the way Moses is carrying himself as a leader in this team. Too many complaints. You know, to every single time anything happened, he would go at the referee. The referee got a little bit annoyed with him at times. Brian Kelly should not be in first grade.
Yep.
Sorry,
I agree.
It is what it is, bro. Brian Kelly should not be in first grade. Jonah Pezzett.
I'm not going to lie. I thought the Eels looked better as soon as he came off.
Yeah.
That was before the sin bin, and I thought they started to turn their game around. And for me, it just showed that you can't have 2 7s. Like, 2 6s, like playing 6 and 7, whatever. Like, that's got its own dramas. But 2 7s playing
Just as
6
bad.
and 7,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is actually worse. You got 2 people trying to control it. Pezza had some brain dead moments, like
Kicked on second.
kicking on second
Yeah.
tackle when you had momentum shifted.
It's
The
straight
second
away,
he
yeah.
done that was a 7 tackle set. And then from there, the Tigers were on the roll and they started steamrolling. They made like 70 meters off that set. And then they scored not long after that.
But can I tell you, I understand why he did what he did. I do.
I don't.
But I don't think his team around him did. Like, you could see it from watching from the TV. The fullback wasn't in his position. Yeah. So he's hoping Josh Adokar uses his speed, but I don't think the communication was there. So I sort of get what he was trying to do, but the execution was really poor. And so and it's sort of showing, like, you look good in the Storm system, but you don't really look good outside of the Storm system. He's got good moments. I think he's had some great moments at the Eels.
100%.
And I think he'll be a lot better at the Broncos, where he will have a lot more support. I think better forwards, better back line.
I think his role will be simpler.
Yeah, not really, because he's got to be the game manager, because Mam is going to be the 6 and he's going to be the 7.
I think Reece Walsh was going to call the shots.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Going to dictate where I need you to be.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point. Look, I thought Dylan Walker was good, but they keep starting him, and it keeps ruining the impact that he has.
Yeah.
He ran for 149 meters. I think that's too many meters for Dylan Walker. I know it sounds weird, but you don't want him running 149 meters.
Yeah, like we've been saying that for weeks. His best impact is off the bench. He
100%.
gives life to the team. I'm not sure how, like Jack DeBellin, is he really that bad? Was he that bad to get dropped from the squad, even in their injury crisis? Like this game, like I'll be interested for next week, because like this game, unfortunately, was another week of casualties for the Eels.
So bad.
Like you got Simonson, who else got injured in this game? There was, what's his name? I am pulling up team list.
Jack Williams?
No, Jack Williams is one that knocked it on at the end.
Sean Russell.
Sean Russell.
Yeah, Sean Russell.
So
That's
they've
right.
lost a couple outside backs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's going to shift out. I'm not sure what their depth looks like.
Don't forget, Ayung is also injured.
Young is, he's like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Mitchell Moses, there's reports of a quad injury.
Yeah, that's right.
Pezzett, he got a cat too, so
Yeah,
should be
he
back.
should be okay. They had that Twiddle that did play the 2 games, the 2 tries. He did score the 2 tries for the Eels.
He played fantastic.
Yeah, he'll definitely come in. I
thought their discipline let them down again. And that's been the thing for the last couple of weeks.
it was 100% their attitude, like the attitude towards discipline. And you know what it was? I'll come back to Moses Sooking. Is they're expecting things to happen for them. They're not going and getting them, and that is a very disappointing thing. Again, I'll go back and say it. You have to win the game. It cannot be given to you. And with the amount of complaining that Mitchell Moses has done, I feel like all he wants to do is, get a call go his way. Habibi, you don't win games just by getting calls go your way. You win the game by winning the game. Let the calls come when they do. I just feel like this was a problem when they had Gutho, and this is a problem with Moses, and Gutho's sort of taken that to the Dragons as well. And there's been a couple of times where he's tried to milk things or go to the ref and it's backfired. And so I think Moses needs to focus on not whinging and focus on playing the game. Focus on putting Adokar into space. Focus on doing like one of Mitchell Moses' best plays is the short side raid.
Yeah.
Hasn't been doing it. Why? He hasn't been doing it. Habibi, you play to your strengths. I feel like he hasn't done that enough, right?
I don't even think the Eels got into enough field position. I think their forwards were behind the 8 ball early in that Simbin period, and like maybe 5-10 minutes after that.
Yeah.
Did I feel like the Eels were a chance? But if it wasn't for that Simbin, which is very questionable, I don't think the Eels come even close to that.
So you say that Simbin was questionable. I say that Simbin was bullshit. I'll tell you why. Because the ref called penalty. He explained why it was just a penalty. He gave the sin bin after they realized the severity of the injury. And the injury... you can't punish someone based on the extent of the injury if there was no malice in the person's actions.
I get where you're coming from.
I just don't think that was a sin bin. You can't retroactively say, khalas, because it's such a bad injury, we're going to give it a sin bin.
See, the same thing unfortunately happened with hip drop tackles. Like, there's no clear... apparently, there is a definition. If you find the guys, let me know, of what a hip drop is. But match review committee, you're literally getting suspended based on the extent of the injury. Like, Mitch Kenny went for a week. Ryan Couchman went for 4. So it just all depends on the extent of the injury.
It's a lottery.
It shouldn't be, actually. It actually shouldn't be. I probably agree with you more than I'd like to.
And I think that the judiciary is going to give Luke Loli'i a couple of weeks, which is, you know, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here?
Hopefully it doesn't. Like,
You know, it's not fair. The guy had a good
if
game.
he didn't get injured, do you think it's just a penalty? Does
Penalty.
he even get reported?
Nah, penalty play on. That's my biggest problem, right? Is they're basing it on the severity of the injury, which, you know, I'm very against that. I'm genuinely against that.
100%. I agree.
This is a contact sport. We're not playing Oztag or touch footy here.
Do you remember in the second half of that game? I couldn't remember if it was Talon De Silva or Riley Smith. It was at the end of the Simbin period, I believe, and went short side to Adokar. Pass, fifth tackle, and Adokar knocked it on. Moses was on the right, and instead of giving it to Moses to push the ball and try to get the third try to get them in front, he ended up going short side to the left, and Adokar knocked it on. It was a crap pass. Commentator said it was a good pass. It was horrible, but
I think it was Riley Smith.
but it should be dropped for a game for that.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I still don't know why Talon De Silva's on the bench. I don't see any legit. Like, he has not done anything at the Eels. Like, he's not even getting better. That's the problem. If he was getting better, sorry, I could imagine, like, okay, cool, they're trending, but I just don't think he's even getting better. To be really honest with you,
I don't think it's that bad.
I do.
I don't think it's that bad. I don't see the value in him coming off the bench. That's more. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's got a high ceiling. I just don't see the value of carrying him on the bench.
I don't think he has a high ceiling. I actually don't think he's that great anymore. Like, after seeing him at the Eels, maybe if he was to go to a different team, but I just don't think he's been that great.
The Eels are like in shambles at the moment.
I don't think they're in shambles, but they are regressing, which is so weird.
That's probably my biggest concern is the regression
Yeah.
of the Eels. Because last year, to start the year, they started off poorly, and in the back half of the year, they won some good games, like even against the Broncos and their last few games, like they were putting on 40, 50 points. They were really good to watch. But this year, I feel like they've regressed in the most basic of things that Jason Ryles brought to the club, which was last year, in my opinion, they had really good effort plays. Like, they didn't have the most talented roster, and they're actually struggling with recruitment for whatever reason. But they had good line speed, good effort, like
Good
all these
everything.
effort areas, like
They were playing out of their
2,
skin.
3 in the
Yeah.
tackle, chasing the ball down, like good kick chase, tackling in numbers, chasing the ball wherever it is on the field, and just putting your heart into it. And this year, I feel like they've regressed in the most basic of areas, like no ball control, or very minimal ball control, poor discipline, like giving away silly penalties. I'm just not sure what's caused it. I'm not sure why they've gone backwards in that regard. I'm not sure if it's something that's happened in the locker room, or if they're just missing another player potentially in the forward pack or a stronger outside back. Because there is potential that the forward pack gets let down by the back line, like dropping the ball so regularly.
I reckon, honestly, I genuinely think it's more of a. I reckon it's an attitude thing. I don't think it's a personnel thing. I think they have a good team. I genuinely do. I don't think it's I think it's more of an attitude thing than anything else. And people look, I think the Eels will come good. I think they've started the year off a bit weird. I think, you know, they'll get a lot better throughout the year, but the early regression is the worry. But same with the Bulldogs, right? Like we've sort of regressed. Not to the level that the Eels have, and we're not rebuilding, but we have regressed. And I think it's just it's a slow start to a season that's got new rules that's impacting everybody, and the teams and the coaches are still figuring it out.
Yeah, I wasn't coming up with excuses for the Bulldogs. I think we've gone backwards, but there's no denying like their errors are up. It's a very different team to the last 8-9 rounds of the competition last year. Like very different.
Yeah. But
Effort, line speed is slow. Giving away silly penalties. Last year when they were playing at their best, like Moses was
they
flying.
were clinical.
They weren't complaining in the ref's face consistently for everything. Their back line wasn't giving away these errors. And I think that has, like, conspiracy theorist over here, but I think that has room to get the forwards offside with the backs. Like if the forwards are constantly having to defend silly errors made on first and second tackle, especially like Brian Kelly off kickoff. Like that stuff can't happen.
I don't know how Brian Kelly still gets
But
to
that
go.
happens every week. That's the thing. It's been happening every week, these errors. And that's what makes me concerned for the Eels. Otherwise, it is round 5. They've had tough competition to start off the round. Like they've started with Penrith, Melbourne, Broncos.
Yeah.
The Tigers are no joke either. So they started off with strong opposition. It's time to go back and just work on the basics, in my opinion.
Yeah, just recoup and just work on the basics and just,
Miss the 8, please, though.
they're not going to make the 8. But anyway, with that, I think we have come to the end of the show. That's all 8 games reviewed. If you've made it all this way, thank you so much. We do love your support. Please be sure to give us any of your opinions or anything that we've said. Be very honest, be very clear, very brutal. We love it. We love hearing it. We love reading all your comments. Go check us out on Insta. Go check us out all over the place. But yeah, thank you very much. And please be sure every Tuesday night we go live at about 8 p.m. And it gives us time to just have some banter, a little bit of rant, have a little bit of fun. If there is anything that you guys do want to know from us, please be sure reach out, and we'd love to work together. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a good one. Take care.